In Sinaloa, the families are all connected in some way. He'd call me sometimes, North Carolina, I'd have to drop off $100,000 for some stash house over there. I said, how would you like $50,000 cash every month? And that's when we go hard. I would literally fill up the wine bottles with that liquid cocaine and ship from the same city that wine came from. I was telling my fraternity brothers, my teammates, dude, we partied. When you go to USC, you party.
Owen Hanson is back on the podcast this week to promote his new Amazon documentary, Cocaine Quarterback. Owen is a star athlete from Southern California who played football for the USC Trojans when they won back-to-back national championships in 2003 and 2004. After college, Owen opened up a profitable sports betting business and was making millions of dollars a year taking money from degenerate gamblers all over the United States. This is how he got connected with the Sinaloa Cartel. One of Chapo Guzman's sons started betting on sports with him. You can guess what happens next. Owen started transporting money and then cocaine for the Chapo Guzman faction of the cartel. In his 10-plus year career in the game, Owen's organization moved hundreds of millions of dollars worth of cocaine for the Sinaloa Cartel to the East Coast, to Canada, and as far away as Australia. Now, after spending almost a decade in federal prison, Owen is back in the world. You can buy his book, The California Kid, and of course, watch his documentary, Cocaine Quarterback, produced by Mark Wahlberg, on Amazon right now. And his billion-dollar baby, California Ice Protein, a protein ice cream bar Owen invented while he was in prison. I've tried them. They're the best ice cream bars I've ever tasted. That is not an exaggeration. Those are in select states right now and soon to be all over the country. You can order them online at CaliforniaIceProtein.com. This dude lived a movie. One of the greatest stories we've heard on this podcast, the cocaine quarterback himself, Owen Hanson, right here on The Connect with Johnny Mitchell. Dude, I think it's number 3. I think Cocaine Quarterback
Dude,
is
dropping. It was 7, 6, and I heard yesterday or 2 days ago it was 5.
Wow. That's
if he gets to 1, I think a featured film's definitely needed.
It's great. It's great. And I read the book too, but people should go watch the doc.
You got to watch the doc.
Yeah, you watch the doc. Your father, the doc ends with your dad like nervous.
Stressed.
You just got out. You did a dime in the feds. You just got out and your dad is talking to the camera like, I hope he doesn't go back.
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't go. He ain't getting no commissary money.
Yeah, he said, hey, I hope he gets to use the hammer and nail like I did. Remember that? Like,
he wants you to go into
construction. At the end of the day, I won't go into construction, but I'll definitely use the slow and steady model now, right?
But you're such an entrepreneur. Like, you're already making moves and you're back on your feet literally less than a year.
Yeah.
Right? Since you've been home?
Yeah, I got out of the halfway house June of 2025.
Yeah.
So 3-4 months.
June 2024.
No, 25.
Oh, yeah, you just did, because when we talked.
When you and I had our first interview, I had to get clearance from the warden.
So your father really was worried. He really thought like you would be crazy enough to get back in the game.
He just knows how I like that fast cash. Mm-hmm. You know, that rush that I've played for so many years, whether it was in football or smuggling drugs across the country.
Right.
Into other countries, right? And I remember telling my dad, like, Dad, please just believe in me. And like, I feel like I didn't have his trust when I got out. And literally, I took him to the premiere. And I sat him down. We watched it. I could see there was like a tear in his eye. And then the next day, I had a law enforcement conference in Yuma, Arizona. And I said, Dad, I want to show you what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going down that route. Let me show you what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
So I took him, Border Patrol, U.S. Customs, ICE, all in Yuma, like 300 agents.
It's so weird how like big time drug dealers get out and then they become buddies with law enforcement. They show them the routes. Yeah. They show them how it's done. And drugs still just pour into the country. Like there's no stopping it, dude.
There's new methods every day, right?
It's like taking water in your hand and saying, let's try to keep this water in your hand. Yeah. It's going to spill through. It's impossible. It's impossible. Now, was part of I know your father was obviously devastated when you went away, but was part of him when he found out the scale of it? Was he like, that's my boy?
there was like a part of him that was like, you were doing how many kilos a month you were moving? Yeah. He's like, he talks about it in the documentary, right? He says, my son could have been a CEO for a Fortune 500 company, but he was so into that money, that fast cash. And he mentions it, and he knows if I do something, I do it at full scale. It's kind of like this ice cream. Yeah. I started making an ice cream, but I'm not going to just make one ice cream for one store. I want to bring it nationwide,
Right.
and eventually international.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm that once my mind gets to something, it's like I won't stop until it gets to the top.
Well, I mean, for most people, it's like you started off playing beach volleyball. I'd just be like, oh, my son's gay. Okay,
exactly.
Great. My son's a Fanook.
Yeah. But people don't realize Hermosa Redondo Beach, like that's the mecca of beach volleyball.
Yeah.
And back in the day, like the AVP was around, and beach volleyball was like you were the man if you're a good volleyball player. For California,
right?
Now,
right.
Yeah,
it was a cultural thing.
You are right.
So
it's a gay sport anywhere else, right? Yeah, like anywhere else. Like, oh, you play volleyball? Trust me, I got a lot more chicks when I told them I played on the USC football team.
For sure. And you got
team.
like no run on the football team.
I got in one game my whole career.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's it.
God, but I mean, so you were kind of like Rudy.
I was definitely Rudy. But with a lot of cocaine.
My father, big square, you know what I mean? When I got knocked and with all this cash, because I didn't find any work, he goes privately to me, he goes, oh man, you should have given me that money, dude. We could have built like generational wealth. My father, the lawyer, the guy who never got a parking ticket. So I think it's funny because I saw a lot of my father and your father when I watched the documentary. And it was sweet.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I think he was happy about the bookmaking business because he knew I was a bookie. Obviously, it was his friend that gave me the introduction. Mm-hmm. So he was like, he's been watching mob movies his whole life, and he's like, how's your bookie business doing? And I'm like, Dad, it's doing great. Like, because it's such a gray area. You're not going to get in trouble to be a bookie. So he was like, rah, keep it going. But little did he know I had the cartel backing my bets.
Yeah. And that's the way that you met the junior Kingpin. He might be. You still won't tell me who this guy is.
I'm not going to tell him.
But I believe it's. I believe it's. Can I say who I think it is?
Who you believe? I'm not going to confirm.
I think you were. I want to say. I thought it was Ivan Archivaldo, but you say, unless you're lying to me, when they brought you to Tijuana, Puerto Puñasco, I think.
Puerto Nuevo.
Yes, that little town just on the Baja coast.
Someone had the turf, and then it wasn't the Tijuana Cartel. So you can.
No, I understand that. It was definitely Sinaloa. We haven't hid that fact, but the problem is you said that you called him Jefe, the guy who you met with after the money got lost from Australia, the $2 or $3 million. You said he was in his 40s. Ivan Archivaldo, who's the head of the Chapiza now, he would be too young. He wouldn't have been. He's like literally your age now. So were you lying about the age of Jefe?
I'm not saying any age.
Now, why is that?
I think when I told you the age, I meant the age now.
Okay,
I believe.
Okay.
That's what I believe I told you. But
it was one of Chapo's sons. Is what you told me. So if that's the truth, it could only be either the guy who's locked up, who helped get Mayo arrested, who's I can't remember his name. It's one of Chapo's sons. The only one who's still running is Ivan. So
I'm not confirming or denying
now,
any of them,
if you've met with ICE, you've met with DEA, you've met with why won't you just
because they don't even know. I've never even told them. When I go into these speaking events with law enforcement, the first thing my handler that brings me to these and pays for my trips, the first thing he says he's not talking about anybody he worked for because he hasn't done that yet, and he's not talking about who he worked for.
But I'm just curious. Is it a respect thing? Because
it's out of respect, because I have an ex-wife that was from that country, and out of respect to her, my ex-wife was with me for the whole time.
I see.
And out of respect for her, because she still lives down there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, that makes a little more sense. That makes a little more sense. It's a madness in Culiacan right now.
It's
madness.
Crazy.
Everybody's getting killed. That makes sense.
Because
it's like saying, if I was like, I worked for Mencho, he's the most wanted guy in the world. Like, what are you saying that? How is that going to make a difference?
It's not going to help anybody.
But okay. All right. I respect that. I respect that. Dude, you left out a lot of shit when we talked last time.
Well, we had to, right? We had Wahlberg on our ass.
That's true. I don't want Wahlberg showing up at my door with Donnie.
Yeah.
Hey, the talk isn't out yet.
Yeah.
You talked about, I didn't know you were in Peru when you were working.
Dude, I didn't want to go to Peru, but remember, I had to check the work for El Jefe. And he says, you're bringing it into the U.S., or excuse me, El Jefe is bringing it into the U.S. and I'm bringing it into Australia. So he says, you need to go check the work that you're bringing in.
So
he paid for it, and I had to go stamp every bird that came from Peru into Mexico.
How many bricks?
1,000, a ton.
A ton. So
I had to literally stamp everything. So I had a guy testing it, make sure it was high heat. He would test it right there. Each kilo would take like 15 minutes to test.
So hold on. First of all, who's the plug in Peru? Because people don't focus on Peru. They focus on Colombia. They focus on Mexico. Peru,
well, I mean, it's just
has the bomb is coke, and they have like
Peruvian
cartels
flake,
now.
yeah.
But who was the connect down there?
Not my contact.
But are these like indigenous people?
Yes, indigenous. You're taking a car like 3 hours up in the mountains.
From Lima?
Yeah, from Lima.
Wow.
Yeah, it's insane.
Did you fly in there private?
No. You don't have to fly in private.
I know that, but
land Chile or land Peru.
Okay. So, but
first class, beautiful flight.
Right. And actually, ironically, one of the guys that used to work for one of the bookies that you used to work for had a base in Peru.
Yes. They got busted actually 2000, I want to say like 12.
Okay.
2013. So I flew after they got busted. They were already in prison.
Wow. Okay.
So I didn't even have that contact to hang out with. So it was really stressful for me.
Wow. So, but he had your boss, Jefe, had the whole thing set up.
It was all set up.
So you got picked up from the airport. You went way deep
in a bulletproof car.
Wow.
And deep, 3 or 4 hours. And I remember I was sitting in there and I was like getting so high from all the fumes. And it was like, I was literally like in the rainforest, and they put me in this little room, and I had my guy with me that would test, that El Jefe sent. He had a tester.
And how do they test it?
They cook it. They take it and they cook it with foil, like kind of like you would cook crack. Mm-hmm. And they literally take a gram, they weigh it out, and they turn it, they turn it into like rock, and then they weigh that rock in whatever that percentage is. So if it's, let's say it's like 0.95 of a gram, then we know it's 90%. Yeah. So, and I had to do it with everyone, because I remember El Jefe told me one time he had a guy in Guatemala where they picked up a ton of coke, and the guy swapped it out, and the guy ended up getting killed for it.
Wow.
So my face was on this, and I was like, I'm not fucking this one up.
Yeah. No.
And I personally stamped every time they were good. I stamped it. I had this kangaroo stamp made. It was like, they use for cattle. Mm-hmm. I had it made with a kangaroo on it.
Wow.
And I literally stamped everyone.
So don't you have to go into the kilo though?
Yeah, you have to go in.
Because I've heard they can, shysters can make the top of the kilo pure, but then with the middle of it.
They can. So you got to go deep.
So how are Peruvian cartels? How do they operate? Are they strapped?
No, they're
militaristic.
They're
like,
strapped,
like
but not like
Mexicans?
Mexico. Very low key. Low key.
Right?
Yeah. Like you could see like a handgun, and that's about it.
Right. Well, they don't have the violent culture that Mexico and Colombia have.
Yeah, they're not hanging people from the bridges.
They're a little. I mean, they have a lot of violence in their history with the government and with like leftist guerrillas, but they're a pretty humble, nice people. I've been to Peru.
Yeah, people are great.
Yeah, and the Spanish is really easy to pick up.
Yeah.
I would love to deal if I was sourcing drugs. I would go to a place like Peru.
It's so cheap. I think they're like $1,500 a kilo.
So that was Jefe's price.
But you got to remember, there's transportation involved too.
There's freight.
Yeah.
Okay, so how long does it take you to test 1,000 birds?
Dude, I was there do the math. Like 3 days. Yeah.
And where are you staying?
Right there, dude. I don't want to leave. It's like I'm sleeping there. I'm waking up. They're giving me coffee. I'm literally.
And
I'm trying it.
You must have been, right?
Yeah, you have to.
Are you taking Xanax too?
No Xanax.
Xanax plays a big part of your story, buddy.
Xanax is good. I mean, thank God I'm not taking that anymore. But yeah, Xanax was definitely a big part. Up, down.
Sorry.
Xanax was a big factor in college too. Like everybody wanted Xanax.
What do you think was the hardest to kick?
To be honest, for me, it was the Xanax, because when I went to prison, they're like, dude, what's wrong with you? I said, I've been on Xanax for like 10 years. And they're like, the doctors are looking at you and they're like, dude, that's the hardest drug to get off of.
Wow.
Benzos.
Wow. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And
that makes sense.
Dude, literally for 3 months, I was kicking it in the prison cell. I was like, give me something, guys, give me something.
Mm-hmm. So you're up there, you test out, 1,000 keys come back good. 1,000 keys is only 1.5 million.
Yeah.
That's his price, dude.
Do the math, what he would make.
And then, so tell us the route Are these birds, are all of them going to Australia?
No. This is, I probably had, what did I have? I would say I probably saw maybe 100 of those birds in Australia. Because remember, I lost that money of El Jefe's, then I had to come back and bring it in myself through my route.
Right.
And if you watch the documentary, I talked about the wine. And then they didn't talk about it in the documentary, but I did a lot of chocolate.
Right. So, and we're going to rehash some of that. But let me ask you this. Why not, if you know that at least 100 of those bricks are going to make it to Australia, why send them north into the States to then be shipped to Australia? Why not figure out a way to get them out of Peru, which seems like it'd be easier to pay people off?
My logistics wasn't there yet.
I see.
You know what I mean? I didn't have enough. You got to remember, I was 26 years old. I didn't have those international contacts yet. But in a perfect world, yeah, it makes more sense. I would technically, if I did it, like, I'm not ever going to do this again, but if I had the knowledge I do now, I would definitely get a sailboat and take it somewhere, maybe Hawaii, and then from Hawaii go to Australia.
Yeah,
and that would be a lot easier than the method they were bringing it in. And I think what I've been told, they were bringing in through cacao, which is a popular item in Peru. And
cacao's chocolate,
yeah,
chocolate beans,
chocolate
beans. Okay,
and they would. This is what I was told, at least. They would bring it to Mexico that way.
That makes sense.
And then Mexico obviously would use that cacao for other things.
So to the best of your knowledge, that load made it through.
That definitely made it through because I saw the birds.
You saw the stamp
when
they got to LA?
My stamp. Yeah.
Holy. And where would you warehouse them again when they did make it across to LA?
We had an office in Los Angeles off of Normandy, and it was our construction office, and it was like a warehouse where we had all our tools and bathtubs and faucets and whatever we would use in our real estate properties that we were building.
Because you were a home builder.
Yeah, we were a home builder.
Right.
And I remember with my contractor, Charlie, rest in peace, he ended up getting indicted and hanging himself.
Oh, no.
Yeah, right. He was too scared to go to prison. And he ended up hanging himself in one of our job sites.
Oh my God.
Yeah, what a way to go, huh?
But he was the one that was safeguarding
He was basically, we had an agreement, every kilo that I got into Australia, I'd give him $1,000. And he would help me break it down into the wine.
In the bathtubs?
In the bathtubs.
So you would have 10,000 grams. I think you do like 10 keys at a time, right?
Yeah.
So you have 10,000 grams in the bathtub at that warehouse?
Yep. And we'd break it down with Everclear, 150 proof, which you can't buy in California, by the way. You have to order it online.
Really?
Yeah, that's illegal.
I understand why.
Yeah.
That's
disgusting.
Poisonous. Yeah.
Disgusting. If you and I had a shot, we'd be drunk off of one shot. It's
Let's
disgusting.
do it,
No, I'm good.
Let's relapse, dude.
Yeah,
let's move some work.
Yeah, that's definitely not going down that path. But no, it was crazy. We literally had these oars. You know, you think of those oars that you use for like, you know, a boat or they were actually. I had a stand-up paddle board, surfboard, and I had one of those oars for stand-up paddle. And I remember getting that from one of the surf shops. And literally, Charlie and I are in there just like mad scientists, dude.
Right.
It was so messy. So messy. We were just getting loaded on the fumes. But it didn't matter. We were using at the time.
Okay, so if you're a real fan of this show, you know how much I love gold. I buy it every month as an investment and a hedge against inflation and the coming crash of the US dollar. Gold yesterday just hit $4,000 an ounce. That's wild. It's a perfect time to tell you then about GLD. GLD is a men's premium online jewelry store. They specialize in high quality jewelry for men that will not break the bank. Previously, shopping for jewelry as a man used to be a nightmare. GLD fixed all that. They've got great pieces, high quality, meticulously hand-set stones that will not break the bank. And they've got everything you need: chains, pendants, rings, earrings, even fully iced out watches. And they're worn by all the celebrities: A$AP Rocky, Justin Bieber, on and on and on and on. They've got 2 million customers, 50,000 5-star reviews. They just sent me a piece, dude. I'm telling you, look at that thing. That's beautiful. I feel like Fat Joe and the Terror Squad in the late 90s, dude. I should be a Puerto Rican guy from the Bronx with this thing. And GLD stands by the quality of their jewelry. Every piece comes with a lifetime warranty, so it's literally built to last the rest of your life. There it is right there. You can actually feel the quality in your hand. It's a nice weight. It's comfortable. It details really well. And they have official collabs with all of the major sports leagues. This NFL season, you can get an NFL team on a pendant if you like. They also have official collabs with the NBA, MLB, NCAA, MLS, and even DC Comics. Chains and pendants that rep what you love. And they have every price point from the entry-level 18K gold-plated up to solid gold and natural diamonds. So whatever kind of bag you're working with, whatever kind of money you have to spend, GLD can work with you. They can even create fully custom pieces, from one-of-a-kind pendants to iced-out chains designed exactly how you want them. If you've got a design in mind, GLD's custom shop will bring it to life. All right, listen up. You're about to get the most insane deal of any company that I've ever repped on this show. Are you ready? Use code Mitchell at checkout to get 50% off your order plus a free chain at GLD.com. That's GLD.com, like gold. That's 50% off, half off of whatever you order, plus they throw in a free chain with code Mitchell at GLD.com. And after you purchase, they will ask where you heard about them. Please, please, please support our show and tell them that the Connect with Johnny Mitchell sent you. Thank you, GLD. I am a new customer. Go check them out.
Now, do you have to mix it with another compound, or literally just liquid cocaine?
Just liquid cocaine.
Okay. And then they, on the other end in Australia, had guys that would strain it out.
And people are like, oh man, you're making all this money. No, we're not actually making that much money. They don't realize, like, my agreement's 50-50 with Australia. So like when I sell them a bird for 100, they're now charging us whatever it costs the guy, the chemist. So the chemist started charging us $50,000 to bring them back. So do the math. I'm like, okay,
Yeah, there's all your profit.
you guys are okay. So now I'm giving it to you 100. So now it drops to $50,000. And remember, I got to give half to El Jefe and half goes towards my tab. And then you got to remember, bringing the money back is also another 25% fee. So by the time you get this stuff back off like $100,000 purchase, after the chemist has brought it back, after you've given your cut to Australia, after you've paid the money launderers, you're only looking at like $15,000. It's like, I'm doing all this for nothing. So then that's when I got creative and started doing the chocolate route.
Right. Okay, so when a key gets purchased by El Jefe for $1,500 in Peru, what do you think his freight costs? Like, when it gets to Mexico, what do you think he's paid for them?
I know by the time it's got to Mexico, I want to say he's paid like close to double. So he's at, I mean, who cares though, right?
3,000.
Yeah,
He's really getting bent over.
Then his transportation from where in Mexico to the Tijuana border, then you got to hop the border. That's where it's the most expensive. It's $1,500 just right for the hop.
Right.
Per bird, which I mean, I'm sure it's more now. I don't know what it's at anymore.
And were they bringing it over piecemeal, or?
They usually do like 20 at a time.
Okay.
Like, they have stash cars.
Okay, so he wasn't bringing it over in big like semi trucks.
No.
They were just doing it,
piecing them out.
Yeah.
He's very conservative.
So what was your price when it got to you?
No, we had an agreement that he'd be given just depending what we purchased it at. But by the time it got to LA, he'd charge me 15 to 16.
Oh.
But some days I remember I paid 28. Like it just depends where we got it from.
Yeah.
Like those ones were obviously cheaper because we got it from the source. But like sometimes when we were bringing it from Guatemala, we were obviously paying more for a bird.
Right, because you've now had to go land over through Guatemala.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, if you didn't have to pay, if you could have kept your money in Australia, wholesale bricks you're selling them to your guy for $100,000.
And they're selling them. Like I had a middleman when I first started, and he was selling it to them for $150.
Right.
So everybody's making at least $50. And my deal the first round when I worked for El Jefe is he gave them to me for $50. I would sell it for $100. My guy would take it for $100, sell it for $150. So everyone's making $50.
Did you consider keeping that money? Did you consider like making a base in Australia and just keeping that? Because you had millions of dollars. The whole problem was now you've got $5 million in an apartment in Sydney. Did you think, let's just start laundering this here? Let's start buying buildings.
I did actually. I was purchasing a condo right on the water in Darling Harbor, literally on the water. It was like $1 million, and it was on I remember the only thing I didn't like about it was on a land lease, 99-year lease. I was like, that's all right, but it's on the water. But I was literally going to purchase this thing with cash, and then Robinhood, like a week later, lost that money, and I was like, okay, I got to get out of Australia now.
Right, I see. Damn, yeah. We're not going to go into Robinhood too much. Go watch the documentary. He's a gambler, grifter who you gave money to go to a casino and bet some of it and then cash out with the chips and bring you a check. And he it up.
Yeah.
And is ultimately the reason that you went down, which is a really stupid reason.
Yeah.
But that's how it works in the game. Like
there's always
it's
one
usually
guy.
just bad luck,
Yeah.
dude.
Hey, it's always, I always tell people there's always that one informant, right?
Yeah.
And
Did you have any other leaks in your crew besides?
He became that FBI informant, and we knew for so long, and there's nothing we could do because I was like, guys, we got to pay the cartel back. This.
Right.
Like, I don't care. I know he's there. I had a private investigator that worked for me that worked for the DEA and FBI. He's in the documentary.
Yeah.
And he would tell me, I would say, hey, run this license plate. I got these Spectrum mobile vehicles in front of my job sites. Like, why are they here for like 3 days in a row? They're not setting up Spectrum lines. I don't see any lines. And I'd give him the license plate and he'd say, no, those are the feds.
Wow.
So we knew for many years they were watching us.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking like 2013 that happened. I didn't get arrested till the end of 15.
Right.
So it's just like, it's a game of cat and mouse.
Mm-hmm.
Let's pay these guys back. Like that was my my number one concern was paying them back. And I'll tell you, when I got arrested, Johnny, I was like, yeah, it's finally over. Like it was such a relief.
Wow. I've heard that from a lot of guys. Yeah. Not the guys that are going to go to prison forever. I'm sure they don't feel relieved.
No.
But, you know, I don't know.
My ex-wife, she's from Sinaloa. She goes, I said, what do you think Chapo's doing now? She's like, baby, he's relaxing. He's just on vacation now. But I don't think of it like that.
I don't think
he
so.
He said AP.
He's being tortured, bro. He's losing his mind.
Life.
He's losing his mind.
For sure. I'd rather be dead.
Well, that's why I kind of got to respect guys like Pablo more than the Mexicans, because Pablo was like, why would I continue to live, dude? I'm going to shoot my way out.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. I think it's because, you know, you got addicted to the lifestyle like Chapo and your ego goes out of control and you know, they think it can't happen to them.
Speaking of lifestyle, how about with these narcos? What do they do with women? And, you know, we were talking about earlier.
Oh yeah, dude, you were cosplaying a Mexican drug kingpin, bro. You would go ahead, tell us. You would buy chicks' titties and
asses, titties, lips, teeth. I remember Tank used to always joke. My lieutenant in command for the operation, he was always like, "Hey, you should start an organization." He goes, "You've bought more asses, titties, and boobs than anybody I know." He goes, "You know how they have Build a Bear? Why don't we do Build a Babe?"
Yeah, build a bitch, dude.
Build a bitch. And I literally, I had this doctor in Mexico, did the BBLs, did the titties. And then I had a dentist also in Mexico that did the teeth. And I'd fly girls out over like once a month.
So you would just meet a girl who was like a 6 and you would fall in love with her and be like, I got something for you.
I wouldn't fall in love until they're built out.
Jesus Christ, bro. It's so vacuous. You're such a beach kid.
Yeah.
You're such a jock. That's what a jock would do.
That's what a jock does.
I would be like, yeah, I would be a dork with my money. I'm a super dork with my money. You're not going to know I have money.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull up in a Toyota Corolla.
Yeah,
you know what I
mean?
But you were really that guy, that white guy that acted like a Latino.
Alpha, right?
Yeah.
Definitely an alpha.
Yeah. But that's what's interesting about it's a perfect encapsulation of why humans need to feel like they need an identity.
For sure.
And you always wanted belonging because your mom left. She took your sister when you were a little kid, and that was the beginning of it.
And I got cut from the volleyball team.
Right, exactly. But you found identity in sports, in the group, you know.
Team. Happened with the cartel too, you know. It took me on. I like that narco culture for me. Like that. Dude, when they wrote that song when I was in prison, you heard it on the documentary.
That's
dude,
so
when they
sick,
wrote
bro.
that, I was
That's
like, dude,
so sick. Can we play that over the
for sure?
Where do we find
it's
that?
On Spotify, iTunes, Don Corleone.
Right now we're gonna loop that in if we're able to.
It's so cool.
Okay, well, we might be able to do it in post. I don't know if there's a copyright around it, but we'll play like a little snippet.
Yeah.
Owen Hanson has his own narco corrido. That is so sick, bro.
Dude, your Spanish is epic.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Flowed with your R's.
Dude.
You rolled them. Yeah, so dude, I literally loved that life. Like, I loved it, dude. I'd fly private. I had the Sicarios pick me up in bulletproof cars. I had girls like looking at me like, who are you, right? And I'm just a white surfer kid with a comb over.
And you get all the attention because you're different. You're like the gringo, the güero.
The güero.
Called you güero.
Güero.
So like, yeah, you're getting all this attention. But it really started with going to USC.
Correct.
And they don't touch on this on the doc, but you were selling drugs. They don't talk about that at all.
A little, right? Just like to my steroids to the teammates.
Right. But you were going down, exactly. But you were going down to Mexico to get steroids your freshman year.
Freshman year.
Crazy. Why did nobody else think, oh, we can go to Mexico to get steroids?
No
Why
one
were
had the
you
balls. You got to remember, these are all USC spoiled kids.
Right. And they're all there on the athletes are there on scholarship.
Athletes are on scholarship.
They're not going down
there. First of all, they're scared shitless.
Yeah, because Tijuana back then was
That's
a
when,
bloodbath.
do you remember? That was when the Arianas were down there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, I would go down there and the Arianas were active. I'm talking active.
Because you were there like
2002.
Yeah.
Dude, Benjamin.
Yep. That was when Benjamin got killed, but it was very, very dangerous back then. And so you would go, you walked on to the USC football team.
Yep.
As a what again? What did you play?
As a tight end.
You were a tight end.
And I was part of the back-to-back national champions, the last two that ever been won there.
So dope.
Yeah.
And you almost had the best of both worlds because you got the lifestyle and you got to be part of this star football team and all the benefits, but you didn't have to play. Yeah.
I laugh because everyone's like, dude, he rode the bench. Yeah. I said, I never played football in my life. What do you expect? Do you expect me to start?
Why do you think they wanted you? What was the value of bringing on a guy that you're never going to play?
The value was because during practice, I would be going against the number one defense because I was a tight end. Right. So they would dress me as the player that we were playing that week. So I was the tight end. Whoever we were playing, let's say we were playing Penn State, I would be the tight end for Penn State. So they beat the shit out of me. They don't care what happens to me. If I get hurt, who cares?
I see.
And then now our offense doesn't have to go against our number one defense in practice.
I see. That makes sense.
So they call them black shirts.
That makes sense. But you beat out a bunch of people.
Dude, I
that walk-on spot.
I was number 4 tight end on the team. And there's, literally 120 guys on the team. And I was a number 4 tight end. I played behind. Every guy I played behind went to the NFL.
Dude, that dynasty turned out dozens of NFL players.
70 NFL players between the two teams I played on.
And this was before LA got their football NFL teams back. So it was USC. That was the only football in town.
Dude, we had everyone, Denzel Washington, Will Ferrell, Snoop Dogg, Shaquille O'Neal. I remember Snoop Dogg used to come to our practices.
Yeah.
Dude, it was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And you were like partying with Paris Hilton and you guys
Kim Kardashian before she was even who she is now, right?
Yeah. You weren't even black enough for her though.
Dude, I wasn't.
Damn. She was.
She started dating my running back, Reggie Bush.
Yep. And so you guys were like living like NFL players, but at 20 years old in college.
Yeah.
And people were getting hurt and getting beat up, and you saw the business.
They called me Dr. O-Dog. They would come to me in practice and like, hey, doctor, what do you suggest? Man, you need a little Decadurabol. Let's put you on some growth hormone, and I think I'm going to get you some Anavar, and I think that'll heal you real quick. And they're like, you sure? I said, yeah. I said, come over tonight, and I'll inject it for you. So a lot of these guys were scared to inject it.
Right. So did you go down just for yourself to get steroids
originally,
first?
Yeah.
Okay,
originally it was for me.
Because you were huge.
Dude,
you were
so
like
swole.
comically big.
Remember that picture they showed like on the poster? Like, and I'm just like Jack with all the tattoos. I was like 250 pounds at that time.
That's crazy because you're not that tall.
No, 6'3".
Oh, you were 6'3"?
6'3", yeah.
I guess I'm
jacked.
just really tall.
I'm jacked.
Yeah.
250 is a lot.
Yeah. No,
Dude, I weigh 205 now.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you're 250, so people see it really quick.
They're like, dude, what are you on?
Now, did you sell coke? Because you were selling a lot of coke.
So I worked, you remember I went to Redondo High, and a lot of my friends I grew up with were from a Sereno gang called Northside Redondo 13.
Right.
And I had that contact, and that was the first contact I had for cocaine. And
were you selling to your teammates?
Yeah, of course. I was selling my fraternity brothers, my teammates. Dude, we partied. Let's face it. When you go to USC, you party.
So were your teammates getting high during the season?
Listen, I'm not going to touch on that.
Oh, come on. It was
Figure
20 years ago, dude.
You see that we raged. Like, you think Paris Hilton would go out with us if we weren't doing coke? Come on.
Wow. Dude, that's some 1980s Miami cocaine cowboy shit. You're selling to your teammates.
Cocaine quarterback.
Yeah.
We got people like, why quarterback? You were a tight end.
Because it just sounds good.
It just sounds good.
It's just marketing.
It's just Amazon.
So wait a minute. So you didn't feel any qualms you're like this guy that's all about camaraderie, but didn't you like?
Listen, my one thing I didn't allow my teammates to take steroids during season. The reason being is because if they tested positive, which we drug test all the time for steroids, it's going to fall back some way on me. Okay,
so you were everybody was just popping during the off season.
During off season.
Okay, I see. That makes sense.
I got them ready for the season.
How did you? But isn't there a withdrawal period? Like, how did you ease them?
I eased them off with a little Clomid and HCG, which brings your nuts back and brings your testosterone levels to normal.
Right.
I had it down, dude. And I would stop them like one month before season starts.
Now you didn't save any of this money, but you made a lot of money in college.
I mean, I used it. I partied with it. I mean, I saved to go out in college. Like remember, I didn't come from a family with money, so it's like I used that money to survive.
Yeah,
sorority girls want to go out. Guess what? I have money now. It's like some hot Kappa Gamma wants to go to the 90 tonight. I at least can buy her drinks and take her to dinner.
Right. Did you sell coke to your teammates? If your teammate came to you like on a Friday and wanted coke, and we got to play my Ducks, we got to play the U of O tomorrow, would you say no? You got to
be the game. Okay, after the game.
Good.
Even at the Orange Bowl, I remember we went to the Orange Bowl. And we won the Orange Bowl. And like, all right, boys, we can party.
Oh, shit, dude. So were you selling like a kilo a week or a kilo a month? Like
I would say it was about a month.
Because you're in college.
Because you got to remember, it's just grams.
You're just selling out in grams, right?
And my roommate in college, my fraternity brother, we lived on these like bunk beds, right? In college, it's bunk beds in the fraternity house. And I would just literally leave them like between 4 and 8 ounces every time I'd go to practice. And literally, I'd come back from practice, and he'd be like, dude, we sold out. And I'm like, dude, that's awesome. Oh. Every time he would sell an ounce, he got a gram on me. That was like, that's how our sales structure worked. Every time he sold 100 pills, he got 2 ecstasies on me.
Wow.
Dude, it was
that's
a
good deal for you.
For me, yeah.
Wow. You had selling ecstasy too?
Yeah, that was a big one. I remember Spanky, or no, who was it? Scrappy from my neighborhood, or from Northside Redon would come and he'd bring me a boat. A boat is 1,000 pills.
Right. And that's what early 2000s ecstasy was popping.
Huge, right? He'd given me like $3 or $4 a pill. Yeah. And I'd sell them for 20, obviously.
Yeah.
Dude, people loved ecstasy back then.
I didn't realize how much USC rich kids partied because it's such a dork school. There's so many Asians and people going to film school.
Now, but back then you got to remember a lot of USC alumni, like a lot of their parents back then when it was pretty much legal, all these big USC alumni that have these kids that aren't that good in school, they're paying their way to get them in, right? Like, then the Varsity Blues scandal happened.
What was that?
That's that big FBI indictment where they got all these parents that are paying for this guy.
Yeah.
He went to the feds, but this guy was literally juicing all these like coaches, like volleyball coaches, rowing coaches, like, hey, can you have this girl be on your rowing team as a walk-on so I can get her into the school?
Right.
And they were like photoshopping pictures of them rowing and shit. Dude, it's insane.
Dude, that's scandalous, bro. Remember Lori Loughlin?
Yeah, she was part of it.
Lori Loughlin from Full House.
She did some time on it.
Bro, I have no sympathy for people like that.
Yeah, a lot of people. Massimo's big name, big SC guy. He paid for his daughters to be on the rowing team.
Massimo brand, the clothing, like the surfer skater.
Yeah.
Like
he sold it
snowboard.
to Target. Yeah.
Wow.
So he was actually in Lompoc when I was in Lompoc.
I love whenever I see, and I'm kind of a hater, I'll admit it, whenever I see these big scandals with super rich people that are just being corrupt, trying to get their shitty kids into good schools, I'm like, suck a you. I hope you get stabbed in the feds. I have no sympathy for that whatsoever, dude.
They just use their money to try to get their way in.
Yeah, let your kid be a spoiled. Who cares? But don't
let them earn it.
Yeah, exactly. And if they don't earn it, then they're going to be fine either way.
Yeah. Send them to junior college.
Yeah,
right.
Dude.
Like let them work their way up.
Yeah, and then the big. And what year did you guys win?
We won 2003 and 2004.
You won back to back. National championships?
Yep. So we beat Michigan in the Rose Bowl, and then we beat Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl. See President Bush, remember?
Yes, you met President Bush. You got a picture with
President
President
with the
Bush.
Balls. Hey, everyone thought I was nuts. They're like, oh, dog, what are you doing? I said, I don't give a man. I want a picture with President Bush. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Right. President Bush, the law and order president.
Yeah. And little does he know what I turned out to become, right?
Dude. I mean, well, he covered up for 9/11. So he's kind of a criminal and he's a war criminal.
Yeah.
But so that's, But what's interesting though is that you didn't really have any intention to be a career drug dealer though when you were in college.
No, I got that degree, right? I got my
Yeah.
degree, and what is every person that goes to USC? They network, and I networked with my national championship ring, and I got the best job working as a real estate developing company, a commercial builder, like the dream job, making
Yeah.
6 figures right out of college.
Yeah.
More than my father's ever made in his lifetime for a salary, right?
Yeah.
And my dad's like, that's my boy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm making like double what he made at the end of his career. And it was awesome. I loved it. I'd go to work and I just enjoyed it.
But I don't think you loved it that much though.
No, I mean, I love the fact that I had a 9 to 5 and I had stability
right.
and I had insurance and I had a 401k, but I did miss that camaraderie, right? With the
Camaraderie's
team.
gone. Rush is gone.
The rush is gone.
You're now just the guy that you just have your ring.
I'm not the man anymore.
You're not the man.
Yeah. So maybe it was a blessing that the recession hit for me, because then I got that feeling back, that black market concierge came back and
Yeah. So this is where you start. This is where you become a bookie.
yeah.
Well, this is fascinating. You could have just stayed with the bookie.
I should have.
Did you make millions being a bookie?
I was making $1 million a year doing that. I should have just stuck with it. And that was back then, right? That was in 2007, 8. Like, come on, like,
Bro,
imagine what I would have been DraftKings CEO right now.
You had, for sure, you had whales. Like, tell us about the money people blow gambling.
Dude,
It's the biggest addiction.
It's worse than drugs.
Yeah.
I had a owner of a construction company. You would never think, but owners of construction companies have money. This guy was betting $20,000 a game on like the Dodgers, right?
Yeah.
And the reason I was working for the developer and I was listening to him place bets with his bookie, and I'm like, dude, whoever's on the other end of that is making money. And then that's when it all started to kick in. When I lost my job for the developer, I was like, dude, I want to be whoever was taking those bets.
Right.
And then that's when I reached out to my old man. I said, do we have any bookies that we know? And he introduced me to his Italian friend that was a bookmaker.
Okay, so explain how you make, because I'm such a dodo, I'm such a non-gambling idiot. How does that work? How do you make money from your client? You got the people that want to bet.
Yeah, so I bring the clients. And I use the platform, like back in the day before I became my own bookie, I used Macho Sports, which you read about in my book. And they are the house, so they back the bets and they pay you a percentage based off of what your customers lose. So I have a sheet. I call it a sheet because it's an Excel sheet with, let's just say, 50 customers. Every one of those customers bets every week, and at the end of the week, whatever the net number is, I get a percentage off of.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So let's say they lose $250,000 that week. Then I get my 20% commission.
There you go.
But what I realized was I'm doing all the work. Like, you just have a software that's running it. And of course, you do have the
bankroll too.
The bankroll.
Right.
But my mind is thinking like, I'm not going to keep working you guys are taking 80%. And then I asked them, I said, can you let's do 50-50. That's only fair. And they denied it. I said, oh, you sure? Because I'm going to figure this out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going down to Costa Rica, the mecca of sports betting.
Right.
And I'm going to figure it out.
Now, why Costa Rica? Is because it's
legal.
There you go.
And they support all the banks. They let you set up bank accounts down there for bookmaking. Everybody down there speaks perfect English. So the call center, now back then people used the phones. Now it's just on an app. But people would literally answer the phones. Hey, this is Bet O-Dog. How can I help you today? And the customer would be like, hey, I want to bet the Dodgers for $1,000. And then the guy would be, okay, you're betting the Dodgers 1,100 to win 1,000. What's your username and password, sir? And then they give them their password and the bet's live. Right. It's in the system.
Wow. And do you have to know, this is going to be a really stupid question, do you have to know a lot about sports to be a good bookie?
No, you don't.
Wow.
You just need to be good at collecting money. And I was really good at that.
Well, but
setting up a customer, really.
But you had a ton of good clients. That's what you brought. That's how you got into the game, is you had all these high rollers. But don't you have to know when that's not a good bet? If someone brings you hey, I want to bet $100,000, you have to know if it's a good bet or not. Because you're going to be responsible for that if they win. So you got to know something about it.
You do. In our business, we're giving them a line of credit. We're not like taking their money. Like, now when you go to DraftKings or FanDuel, you have to put your credit card on file. They're taking the money out of your account, and you're playing with real money. As a bookie, we're giving you a line of credit like American Express. So, hey, Johnny, I'm going to give you $100,000 a week. But the only way I'm going to do that is if I've ran your name, I've checked and see if you have a 9 to 5. Like, I want to know your financials.
Right.
I want a picture of your driver's license. And if they're not going to give that to me, guess what? They're not playing with me. And that's why I was so good at it, because I had that retired FBI agent that worked for me, so he could run all those licenses, and he could tell me right away, like, no, this guy's a stiff. He owes $100,000 to his bank, and he also owns for his car and his phone bill, like to the T what they owed.
But the thing about collecting, and I've talked to a lot of mob guys that used to run sports books, if you win, if the guy loses, the guy placing a bet loses, you're not out money. You're just out what they should pay you, but you have no money that's actually gone out of your pocket. It's not like you ran off with 2
only
bricks.
If he loses the first time, right? But if he wins and you pay him, now guess what? You're playing with my money.
Right.
And if you stiff me, then it's personal.
Right.
That's like the cardinal rule in this game.
Right.
My boy Matt Boyer says it best. Like, you do that, and it's the ultimate no-no in the bookmaking business, because now you're stealing.
Right. Because you've already put your money out.
Yeah.
You've showed good faith.
Yeah.
And when you me the second time, now you're stealing.
Yeah. And that's when we go hard. Like, that's when we take it to the next level.
Okay. So at this time, is what you're doing illegal?
It's a gray area, because I'm technically offshore, which you're supposed to be. But you're supposed to have a wire or a check come from the offshore account into the person's account in the US, and that makes it legal. But because obviously this is a gray area, I would pay my customers in cash. And obviously eventually I started having so many customers, I would have to pay them in wires in the US. But I had a really good system. I had a shell corporation that was a ATM business. And the way we would do it is our customers would literally go and deposit cash all over the United States when they lose. And then my guy that owned the ATM business, he really had like 1,000 ATM machines. He would go to the bank and take out like 100,000 cash, and they wouldn't ask questions because it's an ATM business. Right. So then I would pay him a fee of 3%, and we would take that cash and I'd pay my customers. So that made it so I didn't have a paper trail. Obviously, when they indicted my group, my enterprise, he was on the indictment. And he did get in trouble. But I mean, going into this, I tell these people, we're not dealing with apples and oranges. We are doing something illegal, but you're making 3% on your money. I mean, these guys are making, like $2 to $3 grand a week just off of deposits. Doing nothing, So it's worth it for them.
Today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform. Having served over 5 million people globally, I am one of them. I use them every week. I have for years. They have helped me get my mental health to a manageable level. And if you knew what goes on inside my head, you would know that that is an achievement. I love BetterHelp because obviously everything is fully online. Nobody likes leaving the house these days. It's costly and it's time consuming. BetterHelp will match you with a licensed therapist who best fits your specific mental health needs. And if you don't get along with your therapist, they'll seamlessly, easily, and without cost match you with a new one. If you're ready to find the right therapist for you, BetterHelp can help you start that journey. And trust me, it's worth it. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/connect. That's betterhelp.com/connect. You guys, let me take a minute to tell you about my new favorite clothing company, Rag & Bone. Rag & Bone, remember them. They are the #1 high-quality clothing brand in the country. They sent me a pair of jeans a few weeks ago. I've worn them now every day leading up to this ad read. They are so comfortable. They look amazing. They're almost like retro looking in the way that they wash them, and they're built to last. So they look great. They fit perfectly. And unlike these other clothing startups you see promoted on podcasts, Rag & Bone clothing is meant to appreciate over time. It's like a house. It's like the difference between buying a car and buying a house. You wear Rag & Bone clothing, they're actually going to get better over time. And Rag & Bone isn't just known for their jeans. They've perfected everything from buttery soft tees and elevated essentials to jackets and knits that put your whole look together. It's premium wardrobe staples made to last and made to live in. Fall is here, winter is right around the corner, and it's time to upgrade your denim with Rag & Bone. For a limited time, our listeners get 20% off their entire order with code CONNECT at rag-bone.com. That's 20% off at rag-bone.com with the promo code CONNECT. Let me spell that for you. RAG-bone, B-O-N-E, with the promo code CONNECT. And when they ask where you heard of them, please support our show and let them know that we sent you. Rag & Bone, remember the name, the best jeans and t-shirts I have ever worn, and I am so happy they are a sponsor of the show.
What was your bank like when you were at the height of your bookmaking?
Oh, the bookmaking, literally, I literally had like a $500,000 bank when I was working with these guys. And I was like, okay, I think this is enough for my customers.
Right.
And if I ever do need a bigger backing, at least I can still have that in case.
Right.
I would still make a percentage, but a small percentage. So I remember that's what we did. I said, hey, I'm going on my own then. If you guys don't want to give me a better percentage.
Right.
And I went on my own. And I started Bet O-Dog.
Bet O-Dog, dude. How many clients did you have on your roster?
At the height, when those guys got indicted, I literally took probably half of their customers. I think at the height, I had like 1,000 customers that were betting with me personally with Bet O-Dog. And then I created a system where if you wanted to be a bookie, you could have your own website, your own phone number, and you use my software. And I'm just going to charge you a fee.
It's a franchise.
Yeah.
You franchised
but
bookmaking.
I don't have to back your bet. Wow. So like if you wanted bettheconnect.com, I'd create that website. I'd give you a 1-800 number and my office would answer the phone according to your website, take the bets and charge you for each customer every week. So I would charge $25 for each customer every week. So that's $100 a month. And if a guy has 2,000 customers, it adds up fast. And it covers my nut.
So you guys, this guy knows 100 people,
Dude,
and this guy knows 100 people.
How many people out there are bookies?
Wow.
And
yeah, it's like selling Coke. Like this guy knows one person who uses, and they know 5 people, and it's like it's just a web that goes out and out and out. That's fascinating, dude. How many of those, like say you had 1,000 regulars, how many are whales?
Dude, I had probably like 5 whales in my hand in my daily, like weekly customers. But like the whales, what they do is they go to Vegas and they lose big money. So then they'll take like 3 months off from gambling and then they'll come back eventually. Right. So to be honest, the whales are the hardest customers to collect from. And I rather have the guys that are losing like $200 a week,
right,
that are a construction worker or a guy that works at Target, because I know that money's always going to be there. Like $200 is not like a 200,000, right? So when a whale loses, it's like you're pulling teeth. Sometimes you need to use like any method. Like, hey, I can't pay you in cash. Can you come to Vegas and I'll pay you in chips? And like, I'll take any kind of payment. I'll take I tell people I'll take an AP watch. I'll take a car. I took a sailboat one time for a payment.
Wow. Is that the one you used to smuggle Coke from TJ?
From Ensenada, yeah.
Wow. So what was some other shit you took?
Dude, I took a badass Lincoln Continental, 1966, suicide doors on bags. That was one of my favorites. Dude, the license plate I've made, it says Mr. Hefe with an H.
Did you keep it or sell it?
Yeah, no, actually I gave that to my friend before I got arrested.
Okay.
And I knew I was getting busted and I just felt it. I'm like, dude, this is for you. It's a gift.
Yeah. You'd rather have 1,000 people betting 200 a week than a couple guys.
Because once one guy
blowing $500,000,
and if they stiff you and they don't pay you, you're like, oh shit, like
now
that hurt.
Right. Or now I have to maybe send a guy and it gets violent. It gets
phone calls,
brings heat down on you. So tell us about Cobra. I mean, he's one of the best guys in the documentary, but
best collector in the business for me, like, cause he doesn't hurt people. He just shows up. And that's our rule. Like, hey, don't touch him because they're going to call the cops.
100%.
I said, you're too gnarly. 6'6" Samoan, maybe 300 pounds.
One of the gnarliest cats.
From the Booyah tribe, which is a blood gang. It's a Peru blood.
Yeah.
Out of Carson. And dude, I just tell him, just ride with me. I said, we're going to sit down in Newport Beach at this breakfast spot. Don't say a word and just look at the guy dead straight in the eyes the whole time, right? And he's just looking at him. And the guy's like, okay, let's go to the bank. Dude, it's so funny to watch.
Yeah.
Because you're just seeing the guy like shake like a leaf and you're like watching him and you're like, I told you I didn't want to go this far.
Yeah.
Or like, don't make me bring this guy here. This is embarrassing.
Right.
And they're like, they don't know what to say.
Right.
And they call their mom, can you please transfer money to my account?
Wow. Yeah. How much did you have to collect using Booyah like that?
Dude, we collect hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the problem with Booyah is they're expensive. They take half. But
worth it.
You're making your name now. Like,
Yeah.
now people know, don't with O-Dog, because he.
So was that his main way to make a living? Was just a collector?
Dude, he's been in movies. He's been in Wahlberg's movies. He's been in security for a lot of rappers. And
Wow.
his family's very well known. They do a lot of security in Vegas.
Did he manage to dodge any kind of cases?
I'm glad he didn't get indicted, but at the end of the day, what is he doing? He's not saying anything.
Right. If you don't say anything, technically you have, prove it.
Yeah, prove it. What did he do illegally?
Right.
Nothing.
Because that's super Fed time if you rough a guy up.
Well, one guy got the animal. I know he was in the dock. He got 2 years because this idiot went to a house in Minnesota. I said, do not touch him. Don't do anything. Just tell him I'm here, right? Like, just your presence should scare him. And I guess the client like started recording him and like try to hit him. And so they got in a scuffle. And that scuffle was part of my evidence on the discovery. So we got charged with violence.
Right.
And this guy ended up doing the time because he did it.
Right.
But I never practiced. Like I said, dude, do not touch people, because I know that's going to get you the time.
For sure.
And the cops called on you, because that guy ended up calling the cops.
Right. Now, you would take high rollers to Vegas. You had like a service.
No, what I did,
What was that
so
part of
I
your
try to
story?
keep them out of Vegas. I would bring Vegas to them. So my idea was this. If you lived in, like one of my high rollers lived in Redondo Beach, he loved girls. He loved Coke. He loved late nights partying with these girls and Coke. He loved blackjack. So I was like, okay, I got a live dealer on my website that's going to be dealing live to you. So you can play my live dealer with money on your credit line. And it's a real dealer. It's not like you're not playing a computer. She's in Costa Rica and she's dealing live. So now he's not going to Vegas. And then I bring the girls over. You know, I'm dating all these girls. I'm just like, hey, you want to make some money today? Just go massage them, give them whiskey, give them a line of Coke. If you want to do it with them. Like maybe he'll offer you more. I don't know. I don't care. I'm not a pimp, right? Like, so I would literally have these girls go to his house and rack Coke with them all night. And they would get out of there and they're like, dude, I made like 10 grand today.
Wow.
I'm like, good, because he lost 100,000 on the table.
Keep him happy.
Keep him happy.
Right.
And he just got over a divorce, and so it was perfect. And he would tell me like the next week, man, that was the best time I've ever had. Like, I knew right where I had needed him.
What was the height of that before you met Jefe? What year was that?
That was in 2010.
Okay.
And I went to work in 2010 at the end.
And you had 7 figures from this business.
Bookmaking. And that was a good business. And then when Jefe became my whale client, it became even better because it was cash. And it was like, when I was getting duffel bags of cash, I tell people, like, I paid all my agents, like the big agents that brought in whales, if they're guaranteeing the money, which they have to, 50%. So that agent, like, he brought a bag of 250, he was getting 125,000, because like we're partners at this point. Like, why should I take more when you're you're doing the work?
You're bringing the guy.
Yeah, and you got to collect it.
So it was Jefe's nephew or something?
Yeah, he says it's my uncle, but you know how that is. Every Mexican has an uncle.
Of course. Yeah, it's my tío. So how did you know this guy? He
was one of my customers.
Okay.
So he was my customer that used to gamble with me. And then this happens all the time with customers. They're like, hey, I got a bunch of players. Do you think I could make a percentage? Absolutely. This is like the most famous player customer was NFL 3-time champ running back, Derek Lavelle, and he got indicted. He was 3 Super Bowls.
I was just going to ask you, did you
he
have...
played for the Ducks.
Wow.
Dude, Derek Lavelle's a legend in Oregon, dude.
Wow. I'm not that... when I left in 2008, I didn't keep up.
Yeah. No, he won 2 Super Bowls with the Broncos and 1 with the 49ers.
And he got
indicted.
How?
But he was a gambling customer of mine. And literally he had so many like concussions from football, he would start buying oxys. And I'd send him Oxys. And then eventually he's like, dude, I got customers all over Arizona that want Oxycontin. So I'm like, okay, I'll send you 1,000 of them. And he started becoming my dealer.
Wow.
And it worked good because he had a gambling debt and he would just pay it off by giving me the money on the percentage he was making on the pills.
I had no idea you sold Oxys. Dude, you just keep going,
dude,
bro.
Anything and everything.
Jesus Christ.
If you had widgets, I'd sell anything.
Oh, dude, I wish I was the judge. I would have given you 30, dogs. You were menace.
Dude, I was. I'm so glad it's over.
Okay, so you're dealing with this Mexican guy. Is he Mexican American? Is he living in the U.S. or
No.
he's in Mexico?
No, my customer, his agent was in the U.S. in Newport Beach, actually.
That's what I mean. This guy you were dealing with.
And he would go over to Mexico and deal with his uncle.
Right. And then he says, my uncle wants to make a play.
Well, he didn't even tell me in the beginning.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
He just is my customer. I didn't care. I don't do background checks on their customers. It's not my job.
Right. Because he's your client.
Yeah, that's his client. That would be like stealing your client.
And so but you realized right away this dude is
when the first couple
rich.
bags of cash, I'm like, dude, keep this guy happy, whatever he wants. I said, let's give him 10% off his losses.
Yeah.
Let's give him 10% free play. And that's where you get him.
Because wasn't he blowing like $250,000 a week?
A week. And paying on a Monday, which is unheard of. That's when I knew it was drug money. Like, I'm like, dude, no one can pay in cash. He must be in the weed business because that's when weed was big. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't weed.
Well, he was into the weed business.
Yeah,
they were,
just
they were into a lot of.
Yeah.
They were into weed, coke, and heroin.
Arizona weed. Right?
Yeah, and the documentary part was so stupid. You were like, I don't know what could it be out of Mexico? A guy who's paying $250,000 cash. There's the real answer.
Yeah,
you knew.
You know, yeah.
Okay, so what was this guy betting on?
You wouldn't believe it, dude. Soccer and football.
Soccer makes sense.
Soccer makes sense, but dude, you'd be surprised. They love the Raiders over there.
It's true. No,
Dude, they bet
Mexicans
on the
with NFL now.
Well, now they have games over in Mexico City.
Right.
Yeah.
So this guy's a Raiders fan, of course,
Yes,
right?
Raiders fan.
Yeah.
And that's how he finally hit me. He had a 5-team parlay, which means you need all 5 teams to win. And the last game was the Raiders, and it was on a Sunday night. And I remember calling his nephew, which is my bookie. I'm like, hey, your client is about to hit, dude. Get over here right now. I'm going to give you cash.
How much?
I think it was 200, either 220 or 260. I can't remember. I think it was 220. And I said, I got the cash ready perfectly, put it in the duffel bag, made it nice, right? And I said, come Monday morning. I don't know how you have to get it to your customer, but that's on you. Mm-hmm. Pay him as soon as he wakes up.
And you were excited that he won because you explained, this is super interesting, you don't want to win all the time as a bookie. You want the client to get some love.
Dude, I celebrate when my clients win. Even if I'm with them, I'm like, yeah, bro, you're going to hit. Like, I want them to feel like they can't lose forever.
And how much had he lost?
Dude, he already lost to literally like 750,000, right? It was like week 4 and he's finally going to hit. I'm like, yes, this is what I need.
Right. Okay.
For a bookie, this is like your dream.
Right.
When they lose, they pay, and you know they pay. Mm-hmm. That's a good customer. And then when they win, you're like, you want to give some back.
Right. So when did he finally make contact with you? Was it after that?
Right after I paid on a Monday, my customer, my sub bookie, my agent paid him. Literally like 2 days later, he brought me that encrypted phone, and it was a Phantom.
Yeah.
He's like, this is from my uncle. I'm like, your uncle? And then that's when I was like, okay.
Now, why did you paying him promptly, why do you think that made
the difference?
Yvonne Archivaldo.
You don't say a name if you don't know it.
Why do you think that made this drug lord in Mexico go, oh, I'm going to send him an encrypted phone and put him to work doing other things? Like, why do you think that?
I think business, right? Like, if you pay someone and it's a large amount, it's almost like a test. Like, let's see if this guy, how does he run his business?
Honesty.
Right? Honesty.
He runs it.
Integrity, right? And listen, I've been like that my whole life since my dad told me, if you owe someone money, you pay them. Mm-hmm. So like for me, I've never not paid any customer that won. My big thing, that's why everyone started to bet with me. I paid on a Monday. Most bookies wait till Thursday because they collect all their losers' money. Then they go pay their winner. But I had a different concept. My concept was pay the winners right away.
Right.
Then collect the money. Because that gets people to be like, wow, this is a stand-up guy.
Right.
And I think that's what happened with El Jefe. He's like, who is this guy?
I mean, he sensed it. He was probably also looking for somebody like you.
Yeah. I mean, think about the honesty you have to have in order. Like, I picked up $1 million for him. Like, never met me, right? Like, he's just trusting me off of my judgment in business.
But you know, his nephew who went down there to see him was like, he's a white guy. He's well dressed. He's well groomed. He knows a ton of people. He's mobile.
USC,
he's all over the place. He went to USC, and boom, the light bulb just went off. Because they want guys like us, like you.
Well, you know, he paid for my tattoos to be removed. Like, people like that. It was in the story.
Bro,
dude, it was insane. So I remember I was obviously playing football at USC, and we just would get tattooed after games. Like we'd had these tattoo parties, me and Lindell White and all the guys, we'd get like literally tattoos, like thought we were going to be NFL players, like what am I doing?
Yeah. You were
I had
blown
these like
out.
black and white, straight thug,
Blasted.
like Mexican, like gang member tattoos.
Yeah.
And he found out, he saw a picture of me, I guess. And he's like, hey, Widow, I'm paying for those all to be removed. He says, if I'm making you $1 million a day, guess what? Those are coming off. And literally from 2010 all the way till 13, it took that long to get these things removed. I mean, look at nothing.
Yeah.
Dude, they were all the way down to here.
He did you a favor.
Dude, he did me a great favor. I mean, until I went to prison, right?
sure.
I could have used them in there.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. But I mean, he put me in a suit. He literally had he wanted me looking like a businessman. I would go in Sydney literally in a business suit. Yeah. I would walk around with a carry-on luggage because everyone in Sydney is moving with luggages, rolling luggages. And I'd have, a couple million at a time in those luggages.
Well, when you look at Mayo's kids, who were his emissaries, right, going to Malaysia, like you think Mayo Zambada is going to Malaysia? No, he's sending his kids that are dressed like lawyers. Some of them are lawyers. They have law degrees, and they present themselves like Fortune 500.
Yeah, his plebes.
Plebes.
Yeah.
That's how
his
kids.
Kids, yeah. He's sending them. Those are his soldiers.
Yeah, but they're dressed,
businessmen, right?
Of course.
And just like I'm a businessman.
But this happened immediately. Like it was so quick. You just paid a guy what you owed him, and then the Phantom phone shows up.
The Phantom. I'll never forget the Phantom.
Yeah.
And that Phantom actually ended up costing me because that Phantom, I'll tell you what, the FBI, when they infiltrated me, they had Phantoms. Anybody that worked on Phantoms was in organized crime. Like my boss used them. My boss's boss used them, right? Like, so when someone pulls out an encrypted phone and you see it, you're thinking, okay, they're in the game because you're not supposed to have these phones any other way unless you get referred. Like you can't get a Phantom encrypted phone unless I refer you. So what got me is these FBI agents, when they started laundering my money, they had the encrypted phone. So I was like, okay, we're good. These guys they're using the network. And that's how they got into our network.
How do you think they got the Phantoms? They probably just went
They busted
to the
somebody. And then they were watching I know because I saw the Discovery. So they were watching Phantom the same time they were watching my case. So I would see like Discovery of them purchasing phones at the same time my people would be purchasing phones. There was a guy like at a UPS store that worked at UPS, and he was one of the dealers for Phantom. And you pay like $1,000 for the phone
because it's not illegal. Phantom,
no,
it's not illegal.
It wasn't at the time. They did get busted though. And then so they were watching me. And what I think they did is this is what I heard. They took down a group out of San Francisco, like a weed group. And then that group basically cooperated where they said, hey, we're referring this guy. Can you get him a phone? And it was the FBI agent. So now the FBI has a phone inside the Phantom network.
Right.
So that's the only way. And now this FBI agent, unbeknownst to me, is using a Phantom. I'm like, oh, he's already in the network. I don't have to worry. So what I did is I asked my agent, I said, hey, are you sure these guys are good? And I asked him, I said, I want you guys to tell me who referred this guy in. And he said, let me find out. I actually had the guy's phones turned off. I said, I want them off before I do this transaction. It was a 5 kilo transaction. It's in my indictment. And I had the phone shut down. I said, shut them down right now. I said, I'm not doing this transaction until you tell me these guys are good. And Phantom said, hey, we got these guys from some weed guys out of San Francisco. And I was like, okay, then they're good. Run it. So I had their phone turned back on, and we completed the 5 kilo deal. And that 5 kilo deal is what was on my indictment. That's how they arrested us on that day.
And that's what Phantom was doing illegally, was communicating with drug dealers.
Correct.
Collaborating with them. Because there's
and
a lot of...
wiping the phone. Right?
Oh,
wiping the phone.
I see.
That's the key to Phantom. So when they got me, they grabbed my phone right away. And your Phantom's supposed to wipe it on, like El Jefe is supposed to say, hey, wipe this phone. El Jefe didn't know I was busted yet. They tried to wipe the phone, but they already got into the phone.
Oh, I thought it just, there was technology just to make it wipe just automatically.
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
They probably do have that
I'm sure now. I'm sure. I don't know what they use now. I don't care, but I'm sure there's something.
They have cracked into, there was a big bust about a year or so ago in Europe amongst these like giant traffickers, and somehow they got into them. But there's got to be technology now to where it's like if anybody besides you tries to open it, it just wipes.
Yeah,
I would think,
I'm sure.
right? But anyways, so you got these phantom phones. There's no camera in them.
No camera,
There's
no microphone, no GPS. It's just a brick.
And you're just texting.
Texting.
That's all it is.
It's literally a server in Hong Kong or Panama, and it's just an email between you guys.
And did they have good service?
Awesome. I would use it in Australia. I'd use it in Peru. I'd use it in Colombia. I use it everywhere. The only time you did have a problem, like when I went to Australia, I had to use one of their chips over there, obviously. Mm-hmm. So I had to, I had to swap out the SIM card.
Right. What were you doing in Colombia?
I was dating a girl in Colombia, and she lived in Costa Rica, but I would go visit her family, and her uncle actually used to work for Pablo Escobar. So I was trying to get in there.
Right. But you never actually
I never got to move it. Huh. But that was my idea. Started to circumvent, and she was a DJ. It's a sad story. She was a DJ in Costa Rica, and in Costa Rica, prostitution's very big, right? All the Colombian girls, they go to Costa Rica and they become prostitutes. Mm-hmm. And I turned this girl into a DJ. I bought her a DJ set, and I said, I don't want you being a prostitute, because she was going to be one. Mm-hmm. And this is such a sad story. Her mother found out she wasn't prostituting, making money for the family. Her mother cut her fingers off when she was sleeping and said, now you can't be a DJ. Now you got to go work. And the girl ended up killing herself a week later, dude. Oh, my God. And I was devastated, man. I was like, oh, my gosh. I try to take this girl away from that life. So sad.
Can't save them. No. It's very sad. It's very sad. There's that element that people don't see in Colombia. Dude. Because everyone's like Medellin, Cartagena, there's Fortune 500 companies coming here. But dude, there's gigantic underclass that exists still. A brutality that, check out episodes that are coming out on the Connect. We document what's going on. Yeah. It's easier to move coke out of Peru. That was a good strategy. Now, did you know if Jefe had connects? Did he mostly work with the Peruvians, or
he had connects everywhere? It's just wherever he could buy from what do they call them? Kitchens, right? Mm-hmm. He had kitchens in Bolivia, Ecuador, and Colombia, of course. But,
of course. Wow.
I mean, personally, doing coke, I've used a lot of coke. I love the Peruvian flake. It's almost like a pink fish scale.
Yeah. Do you know if he used submarines?
I don't know. Yeah, my logistics, my questions that would never be asked, how are you getting over? I see. The only reason I knew about that chocolate one, just because at the time there was a lot of cacao in the area, and I saw where they were packaging it.
So you start out, we've talked about this already, so I want people to go watch the documentary, but basically you start out just picking up and dropping off money.
10%.
And you would take 10%.
Yeah.
He would pay you 10%. So you would you picked up $1 million in Laredo.
Yeah.
You're flying private.
Yeah.
Brownsville.
Yeah. With Tank.
Yes. Your boy Tank.
Yeah.
Who becomes your lieutenant when you start moving up. You would go, this guy had stash houses.
Everywhere. I would literally drop off, he'd call me sometimes, North Carolina, I'd have to drop off $100,000 for some stash house over there to pay the workers.
Yeah.
San Diego, obviously, of course.
Yeah.
Riverside. A lot of stuff in California, obviously.
Yeah. They really had their hooks into the United States back then. They might still, but back then they really had workers up here.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
All their job was just live there, pretend like they're just a regular civilian.
Right. Right. And then the money either made it back to Mexico or it got laundered and stayed here.
Yep. They had their routes. They had their ways. A lot of banking internally.
For sure.
If you're making a purchase and you're making that money that drops, everything's nowadays is through textile companies or fruit companies. You'd be surprised, right? It's legitimate businesses.
Of course. And you just buy all those goods with cash and then resell them. Mm-hmm. Comes out the other end. Mm-hmm. We were talking off camera. You had a problem. The biggest problem when you started getting coke to Australia was how do you move $5 million? How do you, first of all, convert it from Australian dollars to
That's the hardest.
American dollars? Yeah. And I'm as I'm watching it, I'm crypto solves all of this. Bitcoin solves all of this.
It wasn't around.
You missed it by
1 year, probably.
Literally.
I was so scared because it was 25 cents a coin when I literally got
Bitcoin, or
no, yeah, when I first started hearing about it. Mm-hmm. It was around in 2011, I want to say. Right?
Yeah, it was.
But it was cheap. And no one trusted it.
No, it was.
There's no way. I remember people wanted to bet with it. I'm hell no, I don't want that crap. Could you imagine?
You would be a billionaire.
Everyone thought, like, when I got out of prison, they're like, he had to have had crypto staked. And I was like, I wish. Like, dude, I wouldn't be stressing making ice cream right now. Right?
Dude. Yeah, and it wasn't so easy either. You couldn't just like, there was no Coinbase app where you could just whip out your phone and be like, oop, I just bought.
You had to buy it on the dark web, right? You got to buy it. Like,
not the dark web, but you had to bring, there was like external hardware that you had to plug into your computer to buy it. So, you know.
It wasn't easy.
No, and I get why most people didn't buy it because they were like, this is sketchy. It's going to go away or the government's involved. You know, people didn't know that it was like a decentralized crypto exchange. But now there's this guy, Ryan Wedding, who's the U version. But,
yeah,
he's a
still
monster.
On the run, right?
He's still on the run, dude. He's now like
he's changed his face already.
Yeah, bro. That guy is living like a nautical, like a Mexican nautical.
He's living over there for sure.
Definitely, he's being protected by him. But they say like because he moves all of his blow to Canada because he's Canadian, and all of the money is crypto.
So much easier.
That's how they're moving it around.
I guarantee they're all doing it now.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what's funny is my accountant that worked for me that got indicted, he ended up buying crypto when we were in Australia. He came over and he made a bunch of fake IDs for us, US passport cards, and he had to buy like the software off of the dark web.
Yeah.
And he had to buy crypto. He says he bought it for $1 a coin, the Bitcoin at that time. And he's like, dude, I wish I would have just saved some. Like, he's like, I had just bought it for the software. Usually these, like we had literally US passport cards in Australia with different names. And that's how we would exchange our money.
Oh, so you were using, your name was something
Junior
ridiculous.
DeLuca.
Junior DeLuca.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's hilarious. But those were legit IDs.
Legit passport cards. And the US passport card wasn't really known yet. It had just came out.
Right.
So when I go to the window at the exchange spot, they have no clue what they're looking at.
Right. And you were at first buying a ton of gold.
A lot of gold. And I was sending the gold back in Ugg boots. I was putting the coins in the Ugg boots and sending them back. And the reason I did that is because Australia was known for the Uggs back then.
Yeah,
I mean,
and that's what drug traffickers look at when they're trying to figure out how to move product out of a country. Like, what's Peru known for? What do they export? Cacao beans. Yeah. We're going to hide it in cacao.
What is Australia known for? Well, they're known for kangaroos. They're known for Ugg boots. Yep. You know, like Crocodile Down Under. I mean, like you got to think, what would people buy? And
then you're shipping Napa wine with liquid
from California.
Cocaine.
I'm like, okay, what is California known for where I can have my driver not have to drive too far and at least ship from that area? And I was like, Napa. Napa's famous for wine worldwide, right? So I would literally fill up the wine bottles with that liquid cocaine. And my driver, he hated it because it was like a 6-hour drive. He'd have to drive to Napa and ship from the same city that wine came from.
Right.
But it's genius.
But I don't think you ever got a package intercepted.
Ever.
How many packages do you think you got? You send 10 at a time, right?
Yeah, 10 at a time. Probably in my lifetime, probably. I mean,
to Australia with that route.
I would say probably with that route, probably like 10 with that route because they started taxing us on the wine.
Right.
But my driver hated it. But I give him $1,000 a kilo, and I didn't tell him what was in it. Like he knew, like he tells you in the doc. He's like, I knew something was in there, but I didn't ask questions. I thought it was just wine.
But 100 birds at $100,000 a pop, you shipped.
But like I said,
$10 million bucks.
The problem is once we cut it, these guys are taking half.
Right.
I mean, it's a nightmare. Like, it sounds great. You're making $1 million a day. Yes, I am collecting $1 million a day. But at the end of the day, by the time we cut it up, it's broken down.
And that's why people are figuring out ways to get it over there, by the ton.
Oh yeah, sailboats.
Yeah, luxury boats.
You have
like
to
that.
like nice yachts, something that would make it there.
Yeah,
no one's sailing this shit.
Right, but look, that's it drives me nuts when people are like, yeah, we've made a big dent in the war on drugs. You're like, this guy put it in legal mail. He put it in DHL, dude.
Exactly.
You would have a guy knock on your door in Sydney, and it's a DHL guy, and he goes, here you go.
Those guys are getting paid off.
Do you think though?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Maybe
not those actual physical drivers that's dropping it. He doesn't know. I think the people that are clearing it from DHL are. I think they're in it because I remember
on the Australia side.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, because you were working with a big time gangster down there.
Kingpin, Craig Hauser.
Wow. Did he go down?
I don't know. I know he got arrested, but I never saw any. Like, I've been looking up his name. I don't see if he did prison time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So you meet Hefe. Bunch of money gets lost as you try to launder it. You meet Hefe.
Finally.
You had a meeting with him down in Ensenada, Puerto Nuevo.
Right before.
And then basically you're like, I'm going to pay my debt off to you, and then I'm going to get out of the game.
Yeah, that didn't go well. Hey, Johnny, you can't stop the game. Once you're in
hell
it,
no.
You can't stop buying those boobs and feeding those mouths, right?
Yeah, dude. How long did it take you to pay? What'd you owe him? 2.5?
Dude, we called it. So that 2.5 was lost by the gambler, and then the same day my security guard lost 700,000, got picked off. So I lost 3.2 million in one day. And then when I went to Mexico, the agreement we had was $4 million with interest, and you now work for the cartel. But he gave me 2 years off because he knew we were hot. He was smart. He's like, I already see the media. This guy's going to cause you problems. He's already talking. There's articles already coming out about the money getting lost. Like, where did it come from?
Right. Also, you gotta put yourself in his shoes. Yeah, you owe him 3.2, but what was his principal? Not very much money.
We did the
couple
math.
$100,000
We just did the math.
Exactly.
Right?
He's out $300,000. It's not a huge. I get that they don't think that way. They're like, you owe me, but it's not like it bankrupted him.
No.
He's not actually out.
Just one little piece of his.
Of course.
His network.
He could have had 20 guys like you with different routes all over the world.
Different countries, for sure.
But definitely. So how long did it take you to pay back the 4?
Dude, it went fast. The hardest part was getting the money back because we now had to use these groups, and it would take like 3 to 4 weeks at a time to get the money back. We had these couriers, and they would give it to people, Middle Eastern people, and then in Dubai we'd get the wire. From Dubai, they would wire the money into Mexico.
Wait, explain that. How would you get the money? This is Australian
So
money?
Australia, we had our people in Australia, our Kingpin over there would take the money, and he had a courier that he would give it to in Australia. I think they're Pakistanians or whatever they are, whatever race they are. But they had a system where they would take 25%, but they would have the money in Dubai. So they would call their contacts in Dubai, and the people in Dubai would wire anywhere we need.
So the money just stayed in Australia. That's called the Iranian. That's an old school way of Iranian banking system.
Yep.
So you keep the money. You owe me $1 million. You keep it in this country, and my guy over in Dubai has $1 million, and we're just going to wire it. And then however they
eventually does Dubai then say, hey, I need some money over here. Like they must be, right? Like I always like, when do they get to see it?
Right. When do they actually, when does the money actually physically move over there? I mean, that's just long-term, slowly buying goods.
Yep.
That's the whole process. Money laundering is its own business.
That's a famous way though. And a lot of people do that.
Yeah, exactly.
There's so much interest. Think about it.
Well, dude, when I was going to buy a property in Colombia, when I was in the game, the same shit. I was going to take $400,000 to this Colombian in New Jersey. Yeah. And he was just going to wire. Sorry, he already had the money in Colombia. So once I dropped it off to him, he was going to wire the money to the real estate agent at the bank and buy the property. So that's the Iranian banking system. Okay, so that makes sense. So it
was taking so long, like. And then the problem with me is since I owed the money, I was like, he's not allowing me to just go on a credit line anymore. So I'm waiting until it hits his account.
Right.
And then we do it again. So it took, I think it took like, let's see, we started working in like the end of 13. It took about like a year. And then the question was asked, like, what do you want to do? You paid me back.
Now, during that time, how were you covering your own
bookmaking?
Bills? Okay, you're still bookmaking.
Yeah, he told me, hey, run your bookmaking business. He goes, that's your bread and butter. People know you for that. You're not going to get in trouble for that.
And was that still doing well?
It was doing fine. And the good thing about that is anytime, like if I had a big bet now that I used to would lay off, those guys got busted. So now I have nobody to lay off my bets. So I'd go to him.
Oh, right.
And he became my backer.
Would he still bet with you?
He would bet like just for fun, like not like gut dropping off duffel bags. He's like, let's keep it friendly.
Yeah.
Like we're not buddies. Like I'm literally flying to Mexico and doing the boob jobs for the girls and the asses and bringing Versace for him.
How did you meet your Sinaloan wife?
Dude, that was in Las Vegas.
Okay. So
she was actually in Vegas. And she was with the Black Eyed Peas, and I was in a cabana with Reggie Bush and Jeremy Shockey, my old teammates, NFL guys. And she was with the Black Eyed Peas next to us. And I was like, dude, who is that hot Latina? She spoke no English.
Yeah.
And I started speaking to her, and she told me she's from Mazatlan. I'm like, oh, you're Sinaloan. What a small world.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Crazy. The family, in Sinaloa, the families are all connected in some way. Yeah,
100%.
You know what I mean? It's crazy. Like if I would tell you your uncles, it'd blow you away. It's crazy.
Yeah. I met a stripper in Puerto Vallarta, bachelor party. Okay, relax. And I don't trick on hoes anymore, so I'm just talking to her, And she's like, I'm from Sinaloa. I have 2 boyfriends were murdered in the last 3 months. Just like,
Yeah,
you don't want to get involved with those chicks, dude. You're like, holy shit, you're so trauma. I mean, like, it is a culture that we, you know, that is really glamorized in narco corridos in the United States. But I'm telling you, that's a real toxic culture. Those people have intense trauma.
Forever. I got trauma.
They're drug addicted.
Yeah.
It's just, they think violence is normal.
Yeah. Everything. I think that culture's adapted to that life. Like girls, there's some girls that won't date anybody but narcos.
Yeah. We'll see how that, well, those bitches are just, I mean, they're probably just hoping that they get a payout when their boyfriend gets killed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or when you go to prison, guess what? I can tell you that 20 of those girls that I bought boobs and tits and asses for, they never stuck around. You know, they're not writing me letters.
No.
They're not taking my phone calls.
Nice people, though.
Yeah.
Friendly people, I will say. That's what almost makes it even creepier. You know, like we hung out with some of Mayo's security guys down there. The early days of the Connect, they wouldn't let us film.
Yeah, of course.
But we were like, that's cool. Like, we're out in this village, way the outside of Culiacan, and they were super nice. It was
Very
like a
nice.
kid's birthday.
Scary nice.
Yeah. And like just
generous.
Yeah, and like the understanding, like I was like, my producer's vegan. They had like a bunch of like carne asada, and I was like, no, I was like trying to make fun of my producer. I'm like, this queer doesn't eat meat.
Yeah, so they gave him avocado.
You know, but they were like, oh, that's probably healthy. Like really, like nice
you
people.
care?
Yeah, exactly. And now those guys are probably all dead.
Oh, for sure they are.
It's just it's wild.
They're
So,
going
but
to
anyways,
war right now, right?
What, yeah.
Mayo and Chapo.
Super war.
Well, you see what's happening. Mencho's got all of Chapo's.
Well, so here's a little update for people that are interested in that war. So, according to Ed Calderon, the Mencho and the CJNG, they have an alliance with the Chapiza, but the Chapiza is weakened, and in a year
they're gone.
In a year, the Jalisco Cartel is going to take over Sinaloa.
Yeah, you already see the routes are getting taken over.
Exactly. He's the strongest drug kingpin probably in the history of the world.
Yeah, but he saw that coming too.
Yeah, for sure. The guy's a genius.
Yeah, he's very intelligent.
Evil genius. But anyways, you chose to marry this woman. Smart. Good move.
Yeah.
Just another one of your good decisions.
I made a lot of bad decisions, but this was a good woman. Listen, she stuck with me literally for a lot of years in prison. And then eventually when the judge sentenced me to 21 years and like I was like 5 years in, I was like, just dude, do yourself a favor. Go.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to put you through this.
Yeah.
I'm going to be 53 when I get out. Like,
Right.
Don't do this to yourself.
Okay, so you pay off the money pretty quickly. And and Jefe goes, do you want to work? Now, when he said that,
I'm not going to lie, Johnny. I felt like I owed the guys, right? Like I was like, man, do I quit and then let this guy down? Like this guy has saved my life. He didn't kill me. And in the back of my mind, I was like, I got to keep working for this guy. But then there was also that piece of me that said, well, yeah, I want to keep working. I'm not going to go work a 9 to 5.
but your sports betting was still making money.
Yeah, but I liked having that kind of money because now I can take bigger bets in my sports business.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like now I'm really a casino because if a guy wants to bet $250,000 on the Super Bowl, which happened numerous times, I can take that bet.
You got it.
Yeah, like this is me now.
Mm-hmm.
And for a bookie, there's nothing more. There's nothing more than you're more proud of than be able to take any kind of bet.
Right.
And especially if you, as a customer, says you're going to post up the money, then it's like I don't have any risk.
Right.
Because you're posting up the money. I don't have to go chase it. So I had guys that would come during Super Bowl. We'd sit down, watch the game, and they'd post up $250,000 plus a 10% vig. So I'd charge them $25,000. So they would bring $275,000 in cash, and I would have my $250 if they won. And if they lost, I took it. Wow. They won, and it was so.
But the house, you're always
the house
up.
always wins. Look at Vegas.
Wow. So you would win $275 at the Super Bowl on Super Bowl Sunday,
just like that. Just one player.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Just one customer.
Bro,
but for me,
why didn't you tell Jefe, hey, I don't want to touch drugs anymore. Let me just start cleaning your money through this. Let me be your U.S.
Dude, I was doing a lot of money for him. Don't get me wrong. Like I enjoyed that. Like my thing in life was like I like to put pieces together and make it work. Like you saw how creative I got with the logistics. And like, dude, I enjoyed like setting up shell corporations, ATM businesses, diamond exchange, bullion companies. And I would literally I started a bullion company called the Goldfellas. And I would purchase boxes, security boxes in a gold place. Like here's a gold store. And then in that gold store, there's security boxes. So if you buy gold from here, you can store your gold in their boxes. It was genius. It was called U.S. Private Vaults.
Wow.
So what I started was awesome. I said, hey, can I use your address as my address for the gold fellas? He says, yeah. I said, I'm going to buy 20 boxes and I'm going to have people purchase gold and I'm going to store it from them. And then that was my way to launder money.
Wow, it's like a one-stop shop.
Yeah. So I started this company. I'm like, dude, I can wire money from the gold fellas account.
And you had a shitload of gold.
A lot of gold. The government took all those boxes. Went in there and drilled.
How many kilos of gold is that?
Dude, I had a lot of silver at the time because I don't know if you remember, but they said silver was supposed to skyrocket.
Yeah.
And I was buying silver for like $8 an ounce. And I probably had, I had the 100-ounce bars. I must have had like 1,000 of those 100-ounce bars.
Wow.
And then I had a lot of gold coins from Australia. I mean, they took everything. But I remember one day, right before I got arrested, I drove to my best friend's in college's house, and his brother was my accountant, and he got indicted. But right before the day I got busted, I said, I feel something's wrong. I feel like they're coming. Mm-hmm. It was the day before I met the agent. And I literally dropped off a duffel bag of gold. I'm like, dude, give this to your brother. He was my accountant. And tell him to put this away.
Yeah.
But you know what the government does? They went to the accountant and said, we know that you got something from Owen.
Yep.
You give it to us right now, and we're going to give you less time. So here you go. Here's the gold. So I have $1 million in gold probably.
So now you're done with the route. You basically put Australia to the side, and you just focus on moving drugs throughout the U.S. and to Canada.
Canada, Philly, New York. Tank had a route. Tanks became my... He handled New Jersey, New York, and Philly. That was a good route. He was like moving 100 birds a week.
Did you have, and I forgot, were those your or Tank's clients?
Those
or
were
those
Tank's clients.
Okay.
I set them up. So we would just go in with El Jefe. We'd say, hey, front us to work, and we'll split the profits. We'll split the shares.
So you were moving work to El Jefe's clients and to your own clients.
Correct. So I'd have routes going into Canada, and then since it's the same route, I would stop it in New Jersey. We had a stash house. Tank will tell you when he comes to see you, badass stash house, where he'd fit like 500 birds. He would just store there in a bathtub that had this hydraulic system.
That's right.
Yeah.
You told me that. So 500 kilos.
Yeah, I think he fit between 100 and 500 every time.
And you guys were moving like heroin.
Dude, he was moving that China white. See, I didn't like to touch that stuff because my sister was a heroin addict. So I was like, dude, I'm cool with that. Like, that's a cardinal rule. Like, I'm not gonna.
Was that Mexican heroin?
Yeah, but back then they were getting China white from Guadalajara. It was good stuff.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Nobody knows that.
Dude, China white. It was the shit.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't know Mexicans had China white. Tell us what was the economy on that? Like what is a kilo? What does Tank get a kilo for? What does he sell it for?
We were getting a kilo of China white landed in New York for 30 grand. And I think he was selling them for 60 grand. He was doubling up.
Crazy. So Tank was making.
Dude, we would split it because I was covering it.
Right.
So like 10 would go to him, 10 would go to me, and 10 would go to El Jefe.
Right.
But obviously El Jefe is making his money. He's making all the money on the back end as well.
Right.
He's not landing it for 30. He's probably getting it 15.
That's crazy.
And then Tank had a very good network with a lot of people like that, the Coke we had, because it was high heat. A lot of people rock it up in Philly and New York. Mm-hmm. And he would sell, like, keys were going for like 50,000 at the time.
Mm-hmm. And are these Tank's customers, are these black groups?
Yeah, blacks.
Wow.
Yeah, he had a good little lick.
And then the main one, a big lick you had was Toronto.
Toronto was a good lick for us.
And you guys were moving it through
chocolate,
but tell us about the pallets of chocolates and how they made it across the border.
So I had a kid that went to USC that his family, all they did was import export, but they were from London. So the UK, they would send in this European chocolate, which is very famous in the US. You would never know, but this guy had like a 20,000 square foot warehouse in Rancho Dominguez, which is Compton, and they would they'd have these pallets of expired chocolate. And I already knew he was in the chocolate business because I went to school with this guy. And I was like, dude, I got to meet this guy. I got to talk to him. And I knew he was going to one of my buddy's weddings. And I'm like, I'm going to talk to him there and I'm going to get him liquored up and I'm going to ask the question. And dude, I saw his wife. His wife had this like Chanel bag, like a $20,000 Chanel bag, and just high maintenance, bougie girl. She played tennis at SC. And I'm like, this girl's just put him through the ringer, right?
Nightmare.
Dude, I
Nightmare.
felt him, dude. I was like, this poor guy. So I said, I know how I'm going to get him. So I sit down with him. He's already a couple of cocktails deep. And I'm like, dude, how would you like, I see your wife's putting you through it. I said, how would you like $50,000 cash every month? Free. All you have to do is give me your expired chocolate. And his eyes lit up like I had him. He's like, what? I said, dude, let's talk on Monday when you're sober. We had coffee and I sat down. He's like, okay, what do I got to do? I said, all I need you to do is when you leave at 6 p.m., just leave the door open. I'm going to come in with my guys and tell me where those expired chocolates are and let me do my thing. And he's like, dude, I want to be there. I'm making 50 grand. I'll be there.
Big mistake.
Big mistake. And I try to keep him out of it, you know? So he's like, dude, I don't care. I'm making that money. I'm going to help. So he's helping. We're literally like taking boxes of chocolate off the pallet.
No, chocolates, are these chocolate
So they're
bars?
cases. They're bars, European chocolate bars. There's like 24 in a box, right? So we're literally like taking them out of the box, putting the kilo in, putting the layers back. So it looks like you're getting a box of chocolate. But we're these pallets are so tall, you know, they're almost 5 feet tall.
Right.
So we're literally just placing them in different spots.
Yeah.
And listen, it's possible that customs can open every one of them, but usually what they do is they go to the first few, they open them. It's coming from a chocolate company.
Right.
And that was my big thing. Like, okay, it has to leave from your warehouse. I need your DHL route. I can't have it leave from anywhere else.
Right.
And then when I started doing the logistics into Canada, I said, I need your vehicles and I'm paying you $600 on each one. And I'm paying you that $50,000 already. Right. So now I'm using his vehicles and it's not going to get stopped.
Right.
You open it up.
And what kind of vehicles?
They have their own trucks. I mean, it's their own logistic company for their company. So it's like not in a million years you're going to open that truck and say, oh my God, I got to go through all this chocolate. No, you're not going to.
No, doesn't work.
It's a company that's been around 30 years.
Right. And it's the amount of volume that's going through there. If something gets busted at the border and you see a big, it's a tip, dude. That means 4 times as much got through.
Yeah.
Or it's a competing cartel that got the drop on someone who's trying to.
We would do that all the time. You say, hey, you got one right here. Come pick it off. Like,
tell us about this. Tell us about this, dude.
Dude, I've seen it where they know a vehicle's about to cross and they will give intel and they'll be right behind it. This is a famous trick. And they'll follow that guy. And they'll say, hey, this vehicle has something. They would give a tip.
This is TJ going into the States, or this is the States going into Canada?
No, TJ going into the States. Wow. It's a famous,
of course, everybody knows that, but the fact that you saw that.
I've seen it because I remember we've got like 20 kilos of Coke. And I'm like, are we good? He's like, we're waiting. I said, well, what are we waiting on? He says, we're waiting for the hop. I said, what do you mean? He's like, why is it taking so long? He says, we just gave up someone's load right now. We're just waiting for that load to get picked off. And like they have literally, you can go see like when they had the bridge in Tijuana, you see guys watching. And there's
a high rise.
Do you remember the bridge?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So they watch. They were making sure.
Yeah. Now they have a high rise that they built that looks down on the border. If you go watch our episode at Calderon in TJ, the top 2 floors are penthouses, and they got guys with binoculars that are just looking down at the border with radios.
Yep.
Sí, el siguiente, váyase. Yep. Boom. And so they'll either, but the hop, they call it like the rabbit.
Yeah.
They throw the rabbit out there. Some guy gets caught. Either he knows it or he doesn't.
A lot of guys know it too.
A lot of guys know it. Yeah.
Like, hey, this is your job. You're going to go to federal prison. You're going to get the meal. It's a meal charge. It's going to serve like 2 years. Yeah. And guess what? We take care of your family. And you come and do it again. I mean, guys do this for a living.
How long would it take, since Jefe was sending the product across the border piecemeal, 20, 30 bricks at a time, how long would it take to accumulate? Like how much work, when would you say go? Would you wait till 100 kilos made it?
Minimum 100.
Okay.
So 100, I've had anywhere between 100 and 275 kilos. Like we're waiting. It's staying in that stash house.
And how long would that take? A week to put together?
Maximum 2 weeks. Usually every 2 weeks we're moving. We're working.
Right. So a couple hundred kilos.
Yeah, like Tank and Rufus, those guys that you'll hopefully one day interview. They were like, they loved every 2 weeks because they knew they're getting paid. Right.
Okay.
And they would use Uber vehicles. We had these stash vehicles. Like we had like a minivan that we'd have like a family driving, and it would come out like on hydraulic systems. And these kilos, we could fit 100 in the minivan.
Wow.
Out of the bottom of it.
And that's coming from Mexico.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, So you never had a problem with like, oh, the whole mother load got picked up?
No, not in my lifetime.
And with that, all those were coming to your warehouse on Normandy Boulevard?
Yeah, so we had one there, and then we built another one over by where Tank lived in Van Nuys area.
Right. Okay. So then you move them down to the Compton to the chocolate factory.
Yeah, that was our
Willy Wonka.
Yeah, Willy Wonka.
And this dork insists on being
Stupid. There. And you know what happened? I told you he ended up, when I got indicted, obviously they already knew about him because they're watching me, and they went to him and they said, "Hey, you're going to go to prison for at least 20 years, unless, of course."
Do you like getting in the ass?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, these nerdy college kids like, what do we got to do, right? And for 2 years, they work for the FBI.
All these nerds, they watched Oz, and they just think that's what prison's like. There's just giant riots happening all the time. Dude, listen to me, guys. Federal prison is a cakewalk.
It's not like the state, that's for sure.
No, sometimes it's not though.
No, it just depends where you go. You
Yeah.
know? I've seen riots, I've seen stabbings, but when the lower custody level, obviously, the easier it is.
Yeah. So, so you're putting, wow. So you were getting like hundreds through to Canada at a time?
Dude, sometimes 200. But the margins aren't there, right? It's just I'm getting paid a logistics fee.
Yeah,
I'm making my thing was I think $1,000 was my part, and I would give the chocolate guy 600, so I was keeping like $400. But for me, it's doing nothing. Like I'm literally like
there's 40 G's.
Dude, I'm just coordinating off of BlackBerry.
Yeah. And who were his customers in Canada?
I don't know. I don't deal in that.
It could have been Ryan Wedding.
It could have been.
You know,
it probably was. Now that you say that,
he caught a case in 2015, and that's when he went on the run. It was probably him.
Guaranteed.
Wow.
Dude,
and now he's in Mexico with them. Holy shit!
I guarantee it was him. See, I don't ever coordinate with those people.
Right. Of course not. Of course not.
I guarantee it. I could guarantee it. That makes sense.
And are you happy?
Now?
No, back then.
No, back then. No, man. I was just nervous. Like, listen, don't get me wrong. I love like this life of the party, but it's like you're constantly looking over your shoulder.
Yeah.
You know the feds are after you.
Were you, and you're on Xanax?
Xanax, Coke, GHB, like everything you could imagine. Vicodin. Every time I play golf, I take 5 Vicodin. And like my wife's like, dude, you take Vicodin? I said, only when I play golf. She goes, yeah, but you're golfing 6 days a week. It's like, maybe that's why I do it.
Where were you living?
Beverly Hills.
So you had a nice house?
I had a house in Beverly Hills. Had a house in Costa Rica. Had a house in Mexico. Had a house in Peru.
Oh, really?
I was international.
Oh, I didn't know you had a house all over the place. Yeah. What were you doing in Costa Rica? What was the plan with those
Costa
properties?
Costa Rica was literally where my office was for the sports business,
right.
So it made sense. I'd go down there like 2 weeks out of the month. And then once I started to build that, where it was basically I had a manager handle everything, I just kind of stepped back.
Mm-hmm. What'd you guys do in Mexico and Peru? What were your houses there? Were they just
Peru? That's where we started. It was an investment. They took that. Government took that. Government took everything. But the Peru, I really liked Peru because I was building like this penthouse and it overlooked Miraflores.
Yeah.
Beautiful area.
Yeah.
The food's so good in Miraflores. Probably the best food I've ever had.
It's great. The ceviche. Peru's about to come the fuck up. China just built a huge, massive port there. You're going to see, man, it's going to look like Singapore or some shit. Yeah. Maybe not quite like that, but it's on its way up. Did you cheat on your wife?
Come on, what kind of question's that? I think the way they look at it is like this. If they're your wife and they're number one,
yeah,
they're cool. But do not put it in their face. Don't be showing pictures of you on anything that you're with your mistress or your girlfriend or whatever girlfriend you're with. Like that's like a big no-no. Like they know what goes on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, they like to be number one.
Did I tell you to not avoid chicks from Sinaloa? I take it all back, dude. That rules.
Dude, they have rules. They know. It's that narco life.
Awesome. Okay, so did you have this is like 2014, 2015, where we're kind of approaching the end of the line. Did you have a plan to get out? Were you that forward thinking enough?
50 million. That was my number. 50 million and be done. We were going to get a ton into Australia, and I was going to make 50,000 on each one.
Okay.
And that was my goal.
Okay. How were you going to get around all of the taxes and the people that you would have had to pay?
I was just going to slowly pay it. Like I was going to pay the fees. I mean, obviously.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, I mean, that was going to be the start. Like that was the number.
Wow, 50 million.
That would be a good number, huh?
Yeah.
I think you could do anything with 50 million. Like as far as like you're going to make money for the rest of your life just off interest.
But did you think now? Do you reflect and say, "God, 10 million? Like you're so capable." Like when you're moving shit at that level, you realize, and when you get locked up and you have time to reflect, you're like, "Oh, I didn't need that much money."
No, but that's where the greed comes in. And I think going to prison, I tell people going to prison is the best thing that could have happened because now I reflected. Like when I was getting my master's degree, I was like, okay, dude, I could have done the same setup, what I want to do now, if I had like 2 million. Like I really could have. Like I've raised all this money from these investors to start this ice cream company. I'm like 51% owner. And I'm like, man, this could be all mine. Like I'm so mad at myself. But at the end of the day, we know it's clean money now. And I'm not using dirty money. And now, you get what you pay for.
No one gets away with anything.
No, not
either in this life or the next
life. Look at
life.
Mayo. He's been on the run for what, 30 years and they finally got him.
Yeah. And even if you get away with it, like your kid,
someone's going to pay for it.
Somebody will pay for it. Like America is paying for the crimes that we committed to build this country. I really believe that. You see people addicted to fentanyl, you see families falling apart, you see narcissism, hedonism. This is all generations of the Lord doing his work. I really believe that.
No, I agree with you 100%.
Okay, so 2015 is when you took the fall?
September 9th, man.
That's when I got arrested.
That's crazy.
Dude, pound it. Fuck. September 9th, 2010 is when I took my fall.
Yeah,
so September 9th, 2015 is when you get arrested at the golf course?
Yeah, Aviara Country Club in San Diego, Carlsbad.
Oh, it's a nice country club, dude.
So nice, like 500 around.
What evidence do they have against you?
Well,
Who do they have people cooperating?
We just did that 5 kilo bust, so they arrested my runner. He says that he threw in the white towel and he's like, "Hey, do whatever you got to do. Like we're waiting here." So he took his time, but they got the gambler. Now that's a full government informant for the FBI. They're building now my RICO case for 3 months, and unbeknownst to me, they obviously have all my computers because they raided all my houses. And now
internationally too,
they did get international stuff. But they didn't have to show up there. They did go to Peru and they got one of my managers. But they're building this RICO now, so they go internationally to Peru, get my manager over there. They're literally building this case for 3 months, and they go arrest everyone at the same time. And they're like, "Okay, guys, you guys are charged on a RICO. Owen's the kingpin on the charge. What do you guys want to do?" And then that's when everyone just folds, right? Like you're expecting that. These are all squares.
Yeah.
And I can't get mad. I got these people in the mess, and I'm not dealing with criminals, right? We're not dealing with the mob. We're dealing with literally like kids from USC, accountants, FBI, retired FBI agents. Like people that we're working with are not.
Right. But they had the evidence. The main guys that helped them make the case were the kid who owned the chocolate company, or his parents owned the chocolate company.
He worked for them for 2 years.
2 years. Yeah. So they got thousands of kilos.
I think they
could put on you.
Oh yeah.
From that, that route.
That route alone. And then they got a 276 kilo bus with them. Like he was working with El Jefe. And
who was?
The chocolate guys. Yeah.
The nerds?
The nerds. So there was a middleman that ended up taking his life as well. His name was Mark Emerson. He took over my position, and I didn't find this out until like 3 years into my sentence. Oh. Yeah, I didn't know. So he was working with El Jefe through encrypted phones.
After you fell?
After I fell.
Oh my God.
And they were using the chocolate factory to ship, but no one knew that the chocolate factory was working with the FBI the whole time. Wow. And so they set up all these kilos being moved, and they're using the chocolate factory's routes.
Right.
And they did I read the indictment. It was like a 276 kilo bust of El Jefe's. And then I read the indictment. The guy, Mark Emerson, who ended up taking his life, he overdosed on fentanyl. Go figure. Probably El Jefe sent it to him. He was addicted to pills, oxys.
Yeah.
He overdosed. He got arrested, and like 2 weeks later, he was agreeing to cooperate. I read all this in the discovery. He was agreeing to cooperate, and he was supposed to go have a meeting with El Jefe. Yeah.
And they were going to try to.
They're going to try to intercept. Yeah.
Oh, El Jefe knew that.
Dude, he knew.
There's no way he didn't know that.
To this day, I think, because El Jefe knew this guy was a pill popper.
Yeah.
To this day, I really, truly believe El Jefe somehow had those pills dropped off to him.
Well, he was probably moving fentanyl too.
Oh, for sure.
Because by the 2017,
then it was moving.
They're moving fentanyl.
So I strongly believe that El Jefe had him killed. I really do.
Wow. So I cannot believe I didn't know that.
Dude,
so
I didn't either until I saw my discovery like 3 years later.
I mean, how stupid can these guys be to keep using that same chocolate route?
Because they didn't get busted. That's what, like, literally, that's how good the government is. They literally said, hey, we're going to operate your encrypted phone that you use with this.
Oh, so they were working the whole time.
The whole time.
Oh, I see. Got it.
It was the feds working with the chocolate company.
Wow.
They said, we're taking your phone. You can continue working, and you're not going to say a word.
But Hefe knew that you went down, so he must have known. He must have known.
In the back of his mind, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I did here, though? I remember I was in MDCLA when I came back from Australia, and there was these 2 truck drivers that worked for El Jefe, and they were truck drivers. All they did was handle logistics. Mm-hmm. And they said they went to Canada to cross some work, and he said El Jefe had them change out the Coke for sugar. And when they got stopped, they raided the truck, and they found the kilos of sugar. And the guys were still getting charged. They're like, no, we're taking it to trial. El Jefe put sugar in the kilos.
Wow.
And he says, we're taking it to trial because it's not a drug.
Yeah.
But it's still a conspiracy. They got off. They're Russians.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's sugar.
Yeah.
I got a sugar company. Well, I always wondered that why when they bust people, when they send rabbits out, why not just make it like almost not, why not send sugar?
Yeah.
Cross in Tijuana.
Yeah.
I guess because you make it hot.
You need to make it where it smells, eh? Like you need the dogs to sniff it.
True. Good point. Oh, I got chills, man.
Crazy.
And Jefe is still out there. Whoever he is.
A ghost.
We don't know.
He's a ghost.
He's a ghost. Unless it's somebody who I'm not. Maybe I'm guessing the wrong person. But look, there's a lot of people. It might not be Yvonne. It might not be one of Chapo's direct. First of all, Chapo has like 13 kids that we know about.
A lot of kids.
So but it could be, there's guys in Culiacan who own tomato plants. You don't know who they are.
Yeah. Sinaloa is very big. The cartel has different pieces, right?
Right. And a lot of people are like you. They're investors. Like they're legitimate business people, but they put their money behind drug deals and the cartel uses their logistics and their power to move those drugs.
Correct.
That's actually how the cartel works.
Yes. We all own a piece of the route. Like everyone doesn't realize, like when I have 100 kilos on this pallet of chocolate, like people don't realize there's different pieces that are all invested by other people. We all take a percentage.
Yeah.
My percentage was usually like 5%. Mm-hmm. But like the big dogs they want the big sliver of like 20%.
Yeah, but 20 could be owned by this guy from Badiraguato, this guy's from Mazatlan.
Two Sabas.
Yeah. So, and I just learned this from the process of doing this podcast, but it does go that deep. And a lot of these guys may never be caught.
Silent investors.
They sentenced you to 21.
21 in 3 months. Ended up doing 9 years behind the fence and then another like 12 months in a halfway house.
Do you famously, not famously, but this was a big clip that went viral on when we did the podcast for Patreon. When you were in MDC in LA, you get a lawyer visit.
That's right. The lawyer visit.
And it's not your lawyer.
Yeah, it's the cartel's lawyer. And they give you information.
Yeah, they're like, save yourself.
Save yourself. And they're like, hey, this is going to get you time off. This is it. It was a file literally like this thick on this rival cartel.
And can you tell us who the rival was?
It's someone from New Generation, I'll tell you that much. Okay. And it was someone that worked as a lieutenant for them.
Right.
And this is like, the file was that thick. And I was like, dude, there's no way I can talk on someone I don't know anything about. And he's like, you can study it. I'm like, I'm not doing it. There's no way. Like, if the government catches you in a lie, all bets are off.
Right.
Like, you cannot lie to the government. They already know everything.
But you proffered.
I proffered against my crooked attorney.
Right.
Which you guys see in the documentary what happens, right? There was
the attorney from Australia.
Correct.
Did he end up doing time?
I think he ended up doing like 2 years.
Okay, but they did get him.
But they got him. Well, yeah, they flew me to Australia. I mean, you're going to see in the documentary.
And that's how they knew they were going to do that the whole time.
They knew. And I was not lying I knew he was crooked. And I'm like, I'll tell you what I was doing. I had a phone, a special phone that I used with him. Yeah. It was a throwaway phone. And like, I was the only one that knew that. Mm-hmm. Obviously he's not going to tell that.
So you go into prison. Did you know
This whole time.
Hang on. First of all, this is fascinating. This brings it home. If you had just pled guilty, but said, I'm not giving anybody up, what were you facing? What did they threaten you with?
Well, I already was facing it. It was 21 years in the U.S. Excuse me. The plea agreement I signed was for 30 years. They can give you 30, up to 30 years. But the kicker was they had me after the 30 years that I would have to go to Australia and do a 25-year bid, a life sentence, because it was anything over anything over 3 kilos in Australia is a life sentence. Importing.
Wow.
So I had that was scaring me. Like, okay, the U.S. thing, that's obviously, we're going to try to get, my lawyer's like, hey, they're asking for 20. We knew that they're asking for 20. No, excuse me. Yes, they were asking for 20 and my lawyer was going to ask for 10. And usually the judge splits the baby, they call it, and they give you 15.
Right.
So we were going in there thinking you're going to get 15.
Right.
But they gave me that 21 and then they made me earn that time off.
Okay, but you had to proffer, but could you just say, could you have walked in there and said, I plead guilty, but I'm not telling you about any money. I'm not telling you about any routes.
Yeah, you and I wouldn't be here. I would be doing my 21 years in U.S. and then I would be extradited to Australia to do 25.
I see. Okay.
And I don't have sucker on my forehead, right?
So basically, you're basically doing a life sentence at this point.
No,
okay.
That is a life.
Okay. So, so you gave up information on the lawyer before you got sentenced?
Yes.
Okay.
So I took my deal. And then that's when my lawyer came in and said, hey, you're not playing with the cartel. Okay, how about this subject? You got a crooked attorney. Would you be willing to talk on him? Remember, that's the same crooked attorney that made me go in and speak to the Beverly Hills Police Department.
Right.
Before I was arrested 2 years prior.
Right.
I would have never done that interview because we're not supposed to talk to authorities, but I'm taking my legal advice from my attorney that it's not a U.S. matter. The money was in Australia. And I said, are you sure?
Yeah.
It's like, mate, it's not a U.S. matter. Don't worry.
And you'll see in the documentary, you're trying to recover like $700,000 that you lost while you're down there. But do you realize that's what saved your life? Because if you didn't have this lawyer, you would have had nobody to tell on except for the cartel.
Yeah, it's literally the best thing. People tell me you won the lottery in life. You literally have someone looking after you, and I believe that, no doubt.
So when you go in, you get sentenced to 21. Do you know that they're going to fly you to Australia at some point?
No, my lawyer comes in the next day. I'm like suicidal pretty much. I'm like, dude, I just got 21 years. I'm bummed, right? And I knew I had that little chance, but nobody takes it to trial ever, right? You know that. 98% of people take a deal. So I'm like, dude, this guy's going to take a deal. And my lawyer comes and sees me and goes, remember, don't give up. He says, there's always that crooked attorney you had. And in the back of my mind, I thought about it the whole time, dude. Like I kept telling my family they'd visit me. Come on, dude, we're going to get a chance. Trust me. I'm not going to be here 21 years. And I kept manifesting it, literally. I had girlfriends visit me. Like, I'm going to be out, baby. Just watch. Like I would put it in my head.
Yep.
And then when they came to get me, I was like, dude, this is amazing. It's happening.
It was about 5 years into your stretch, right?
And people were like, dude, you're getting extradited. Everyone in the prison thought I was getting extradited to go do time.
Right.
Because I had that, like it was in newspaper articles. Like I got a life sentence over there.
Now, did you have a snitch jacket when you first went in?
No, because I don't have anything. The Rule 35 only kicks in when you actually do your cooperation.
Right.
And giving evidence after your time. Like, so look, it's called a Rule 35. The only way you can get that time off is if you do go testify against this attorney, this crooked attorney. So I didn't get my time off until that happened.
So you actually
walked
the walk.
There's no jacket. I walked everywhere. My paper was showing I had a mandatory minimum and I had that time. It's like, you're not looking at, like, there's no 5K1 letter, right?
Yeah, because when you do 20, you really can't go into the feds with a jacket.
No.
Because they're going to, when you're doing 20, you're going to a high level. So you really got to be clean, or else you're going to probably get.
Dude, within the first 10 minutes, they were already on me.
Who?
The shot caller in my unit.
Where'd you go?
USP Lompoc, which was a medium. And they all white boys, skinheads, Nazi lowriders, running your paperwork. And I'm like, oh my God.
And those guys, they take it so serious. So even at a medium, you could get touched.
For sure. I've seen it.
So okay, good. You're clean. You don't have any, but in the back of your mind, I'm
hoping, right?
Yeah.
You never know until you actually get there.
So everything was pretty chill. I mean, you saw some things, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, I saw murders.
You saw murders?
I saw one at MDC. Mexican Mafia put a hit on a guy that owed money. He was supposed to just poke him. The Sereno was just supposed to poke him to make him pay. And he actually hit him right in the kidney. Is that the kidney right there?
This was in the MDC?
In MDC, dude. That's
jail.
Yeah,
that's not
jail.
even.
That's the holdover. That was a Mexican Mafia member. I'm not going to say his name, but he got a life sentence for that. He was already in there for life, so he didn't care. But dude, it was gnarly. Everyone that was part of that, it was during COVID. The guy his bunkie had to do the shot. They called the shot. He was supposed to poke him. And during COVID, we weren't allowed to take showers but once every like 3 days. So it happened on a Friday after showers. And then for Saturday, Sunday, we went to take a shower to Monday. They killed the guy on a Friday. They put him in the bed, put a blanket on him so it looked like he was sleeping. Every time the cops would come, they'd just shine the light. It looks like he's sleeping. Come Monday, they open the doors and just reeks. Dude,
so that guy was in the cell all weekend with a dead body.
And he got charged for the murder, and he ended up flipping.
Yeah, sure. I believe it. Did you see anything while you were in prison?
A lot of hangings. Dude, I was surprised. I saw 2 hangings, and I seen them where they jump off one in Victorville and one in was it? One in Victorville, one in Lompoc. And then I saw 2 overdoses. The cellies, they did a shot of heroin when I was in MCC San Diego. Both of them must have took the shot at the same time because they both died.
Oh my God. You you witnessed them starting to convulse.
Yeah, well, we saw the guards coming. We were locked down.
Yeah.
And we're like, everyone's banging. And we're like, dude, something's going on.
Did you say you saw a guy jump off the tier?
The tier with a rope. Yeah, that was gnarly.
Yeah, I can't believe you.
3 floors, dude. Oof.
33
No, 3 floors. 3 levels.
Yeah. So that was at Victorville.
Yes.
And that's
the 3rd level.
Victorville's a horrible
with a sheet.
prison.
Victorville's the worst prison in California, I think.
It's probably the worst town in California.
Yeah,
my producer John is from Victorville.
Oh,
talk about a bag of white trash. So Victorville's crazy. I can't believe you can't survive in Victorville if you have bad paper.
No way. I've seen him beat sex offenders off the yard.
We had a guy here, JC, in the early days of the Connect, and he did time in Mexican prison, and he was like, I'd do that over Victorville
I'm sure.
any day. Wow. So you're just keeping your head down, doing your thing. You get that call. Woo! Or you get that lawyer visit, right?
Dude, it was a blessing, right? It was literally, I got into Australia and the whole country shut down. It was COVID.
Oh, right.
So, dude, you wouldn't
Hold
believe
on, but the U.S. Marshals, how did it happen?
Let me tell you. So I got there. They pulled me out of my cell in Lompoc. I literally go jail to jail until I get to, I had to spend a couple nights in jails going to the LAX airport. And I had Australian authorities waiting for me, 3 of them in jackets. And no one would tell me like what's going on. I'm thinking I'm getting extradited for my time. I'm like, dude, why aren't you guys telling me what's going on?
Yeah.
And they can't tell me by law. They're like, you're going to get a lawyer call when you get there. I'm like, holy smokes. So I get on this plane. I'm on Qantas, I think it was. And I got these guards, like just guys in suits. And now I'm in just like blue jeans and a t-shirt, like a golf shirt. And the captain comes back and he says, Hansen, am I going to have problems with you? I said, no, you're not going to have problems with me. He goes, because we don't allow handcuffs on this flight. I said, you're not going to have problems with me. Yeah. But I said, hey, captain, do me a favor. Can I get some of that stuff in the first class? Like send me like a cheese plate or something. Yeah. And he sent it to me.
That's awesome. Dude, so you were on a commercial
I was the first
civilian flight?
Yeah, civilian. I was in the back.
Wow.
I was telling people, man, I was like, dude, you're with civilians. You haven't smelt a woman in so many years. Like there's a 4 that looks like a 10. Yeah. And you're like, oh, look at that babe over there. Like, I just want to put my hand on her.
There's a kangaroo that looks like a koala.
Yeah. Dude, I'm looking at these girls like drooling. I'm like smelling them. Yeah. It's like a human, right? Yeah. You don't get that.
Wow. That's fascinating. So somebody could be on a flight and they don't even know they're with a convict.
They had no clue. I mean, you wouldn't guess. Like I look like a normal guy.
Yeah. No, it's just wild. They didn't put you on like the Con Air or
No,
anything.
they can't. I mean, 17
because it's international.
Flight.
Yeah. Holy shit.
And then I get there and literally I get there and COVID hits. Now the country shut down, US is shut down, everything's shut down. I'm like, dude, literally they flew me over just for this trial. The judge came in and said, listen, we're shutting down the courts. I'm like, oh, great. He's not going to be able to take it to trial. And the judge says, no, this guy's been... He's here.
They wanted this guy. He was like a famous, dirty lawyer.
Corrupt lawyer.
Yeah.
They said, you're here from America. We're running this. This is the last case on my file for the next until COVID's done.
Right.
And we ran it.
So you went. So it wasn't over Zoom. You
No,
were in
I
trial.
was there, man.
You were
They
in
put me in a
court.
suit. And I was like, listen, this guy told me, my lawyer told me specifically to make the story up. And my lawyer specifically told me to go to the Beverly Hills police station. And my lawyer knew. I told him that we should just let this money go. It's going to cause us problems. Because that's what I did, Johnny. I was like, dude, it's not worth it. By the time we split all this money up, I'm going to get like 200 grand. And I just told him the truth. I'm like, yeah, I called him on a cell phone. I had a throwaway phone. He had a throwaway phone, and that's how we communicated. And like, dude, I'm saving my ass.
That was it?
That was it. They had obviously other people that testified,
right.
but they needed me to basically say that we communicated through these, they call them throwaway phones in the US. They call them something else over there because they're really hard to get throwaway phones over there.
Wow. They really wanted this guy.
They wanted him.
And he only did a couple of years.
Yeah, I think he was 70 years old and he got arrested or he went to jail during COVID. So, everyone in prison got like that COVID relief.
Yeah, they were getting out early. Yeah.
And he used the old, his health is bad.
Right.
They use everything. He's a lawyer. He's corrupt.
Okay. So how long were you on the stand for?
2 days, I think it was.
Oh, wow.
They would keep calling me like they need little things like, okay, so what else would, we would send him money like to pay dodgy. So I guess, what do they call them? There's a solicitor in Australia, and then there's someone higher up, and they're the guys that wear the wigs. I can't think of their name.
They're like
right
judges,
now.
magistrates.
It's like someone higher up, and he says we could pay those people off, and I would send him wires into Australia. Barristers. That's barristers. He says, mate, we'll just pay off some barristers. So I'm thinking, dude, this guy has it made. We're paying off barristers. So I would literally wire him money from my construction company. And they're tracking like all this money I'm sending them. So I thought this lawyer was like, dude, the man, right? I'm like, so I had to explain to him, like, I'm doing what my lawyer's telling me to do.
Now, was he stealing that money or was he actually paying?
He was stealing it.
He must have been, right?
Dude, this guy stole so much money from me. I had money in the apartment that he stole still because I couldn't go back to the U.S. I had money in the attic.
Right.
The guy got me for a couple million. I didn't care. Just Johnny, I was so excited that I could, like, when they told me this guy, it was like in gambling, it's called getting your get back. Like you get a shot to win your money back, right? For sure.
And you don't have to tell on anybody in the game.
No, that's for me. That's like, if you want to call me a rat, call me a rat. You're not hurting my feelings. I'm a chess player, right? This is a business. Yeah. And to me, I don't think it's considered ratting if you're telling on someone. It's like telling on a cop. Like this is a lawyer that's supposed to represent you. Yeah. And call me what you want, but guess what?
And also your boy Tank, your number one worker, lieutenant, you told him to tell on you so he could get off early.
Yeah,
you're playing high-level chess, my friend. Yeah. And people that want to call you a rat have never seen real money in
They've never
their
been
life.
in our shoes, right?
I promise you that. Wow. So after that, did you get shot right back to
6
the States?
months later, dude.
Because so you're done in jail there?
Yeah, awesome jail.
For sure.
33 by 10, so 330 square feet. Bed, 72 channels on my TV, including soft porn. Dude, I had soft porn. I had a George Foreman grill. I had this thing called a Rebel, which is like a coffee pot. I had a shower. I had like a little kitchenette. And every day you had the guys come by with the trolley. Yeah. And they're like, you want whole milk, 2%, non-fat? What kind of cereal do you want, Mr. Hansen? Like, here's a loaf of bread. Yeah. Here's jam. Here's jelly. Dude, I didn't want to leave. I'm calling my lawyer in America. I'm like, dude, keep me here the whole time. This is the spot.
Would that have been an option?
No way.
Probably
he says,
not,
you know
right?
how much money it's costing them to keep you there?
For sure.
Dude, it's like 3 times the amount the U.S. pays.
Now, did you have any danger because you did cooperate?
Listen,
did you have
at the end of the day, I was like, okay, my custody level is going to probably drop eventually. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to a low.
Yeah.
I mean.
And everybody there is told.
Yeah, everybody. I mean, your lows in federal prison, people don't know that, like, that's where they have to send sex offenders because they can't go to a camp.
Right.
So like nowadays, anybody that goes to a low, it's like 70% sex offenders. Mm-hmm. Like I was with Jared Fogle, right? This guy from Subway.
Nice.
Like, so I was literally like, I went to a cool prison. I said I wanted to be.
So how long after you testified did you get the word that they had reduced your sentence from?
Dude, years, because I had to wait for COVID to be over. The judge wasn't going to rule. He didn't rule till 2023, end of 2023.
But did your lawyer say, don't worry?
He says it's up to the judge.
Wow.
So the judge, we got.
But obviously, you knew you were going to have to go to Australia and do 25.
That deal was off the table. That was part of my agreement.
So that's a huge relief.
So that relief was off.
Right.
I was like, okay, at least I don't have to worry about that life sentence because that was part of the agreement. If I come over there,
right.
A lot of people think, oh, he's going to get extradited. No, that's over. Like it's documented. Like that was our agreement.
Right. Okay.
So I knew that was, and I was like, man, okay, like when are we going to hear on this other thing? You told me we got a shot. And he's like, dude, just sit. It's up to the judge.
Where were you sitting? Where were you at?
I was at MDC LA during COVID. That's when I saw that stabbing.
Right.
So they landed me there. And then I went to Victorville for a year.
Did they know what you were?
No one knew because it was COVID still. So I was locked in my cell 24 hours a day. It was like solitary confinement.
Thank God, though.
Dude, it was a blessing. Because now no one knows about my case. They don't know where I was. No one's watching TV. No one's watching the news. Like, it was a blessing, dude. And then
I would have kept my shit on me. I would have kept a banger on me, though.
Dude, I was just like, okay, where are they going to send me? And then I remember, like, got redesignated. I was like, they asked me, where do you want to go? I said, anywhere close to my father. My father lived in Montana. I said, and they found a prison in Colorado, and it was a good prison.
It was a low?
It was a low. It was badass. They had weights called Inglewood. And dude, it was badass.
And that's where you paroled out of?
Yeah, paroled
That's where they feature that in the doc.
Yeah.
Wow, dude. And now you're a ice cream baron, bro.
Dude.
Plug the. This is the best ice cream, protein ice cream or not.
Dude, I was going to bring some. I was like, man, I got to bring dry ice. The plane's going to.
It's all good. Yeah. It's all good. I'll order some and we'll feature it. You know, we'll put the link to it and everything like that. But you've literally been home. The Wahlbergs reached out to you. You're in the documentary. You're in prison still.
Yeah.
You're making your ice cream.
You see it.
Yep. And you did well with that in prison, by the way.
$15 a peanut butter jar, 50 jars a week. You know, I saved that money. I literally saved that money to start the ice cream business when I got out.
Yeah, you had some money when you got out. So tell us.
So that's where we're at, California Ice Protein. I'm in, 100 locations now.
That's
New York, California, Miami, New Jersey, Philly. It's almost the same routes I used to use in the drug business. So funny. But it's a healthy ice cream now. It's a protein, 20 grams of protein per bar. And dude, I feel literally, I'm not going to lie, Johnny, when I land pallets. I literally ship pallets. They're harder to ship these pallets than cocaine because it has to be frozen 24/7. And I get the same high. Even though I'm making like $1 a bar on that pallet, there's 5,200 on there. But you do the math. Like this is a numbers game.
Yeah.
And for me, when I land that pallet in New York for the first time, I had the same rush as when I land that first pallet across the border.
Man, because it's creativity.
Yes.
It's you're doing something. It's your brainchild. That's really what it's about.
Yep. And I love it, dude. I'm like, I want to be a kingpin for ice cream now.
I think you will, man. I think you will. We're gonna figure out how to get you out here to Texas.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get involved somehow.
You are.
The greed is now shooting off dopamine in my brain. But literally, you have a book, The California Kid, which I read and is excellent, and then now number 2 or 3 on Amazon, Cocaine Quarterback.
Yep. And we're thinking about doing a second book. My ghostwriter said, hey, why don't we do my life from behind the fence? Because my book ends just getting arrested. Now people are asking, okay, what did you do in prison? People have a sick fascination of prison. They want to know what's going on. And I started all these businesses, got my master's degree, started the protein ice cream, and then how did you get out? Like that's part of the story. No one knows it unless you watch the doc, and it's only like 2 minutes. So I want to tell like the game of chess, right?
What'd you get? What was your master's in?
Business administration.
All right.
And that's kind of what made me spark this idea like, okay, now I got to start a business. I continue the story. You got your master's degree. If I would have kept going if I would have stayed in prison the time I was supposed to, I'd be a doctor for sure. I'd get my doctor's.
Yeah.
But when I was in there, I was like, okay, now I got to start a business. Like, what am I going to do? And that's when I started the idea of the protein ice cream.
Yeah.
In prison, it was called Kingpin Creamery.
Dude, the brand is so sick. It's so California. It's so cholo.
Yeah.
I love it, dude. I was instantly like, oh, that's going to be a winner.
Yeah, we're hoping. We're definitely hoping.
Well, I hope we're going to get Tank in here to do the podcast. I am going to meet Hefe, and we are going to get him on the show somehow.
Well, you better get to Mexico.
Owen, man, you're my buddy, dude.
That's right.
You're my. I really I enjoy these talks with you. It's good to see you. And yeah, Cocaine Quarterback on Amazon. and then California protein ice cream. Links to all that in the description. And, come back anytime, man. Let's work, dude.
No worries. Let's do it, mate.